are talking about a very controversial topic. People have asked me, how? What do you guys want to say? But we just want to hear. There are questions people have even thrown at us, audience from different parts of Nigeria, global viewers who saw our team for today and said, I have questions. So I said, send them in. So they have questions. And we have two amazing guests who are going to be with us today. And they will be dealing with many of these topics. So, but in a nutshell, I want you guys to follow us on all social media, Unbothered Show, TikTok, Instagram, and also check us out on your favorite podcast platforms. We are there. Every conversation we have here goes on there, and also on YouTube. So you can find us at Unbothered Show. Please subscribe. I would like to invite my amazing co-host. Zora, please indicate. So yes, that's the superwoman that I do this with. She says she does not understand.
Hi everyone. Good evening. I'd like to say that you're welcome to the Unbothered. Okay, so Chika has introduced the show and what we're about. I don't like talking to marriage because I'm not married, but I think that we can share a thing or two when it comes to issues regarding marriage. But more for me is relationship and friendships, because I feel like those are the foundations for a society, right? And today's conversation is one that is very emotional, one that probably everyone has experienced, except by the grace of God, He has kept you away from the dealings of both men and women of the world. But if you have not been kept, you have experienced this. Because God not saying to go and date anybody. So if you are saying you have experienced it as children of God, God will ask a question. All right, but today we're talking about heartbreaks, betrayals, and
Boundaries.
yeah, and boundaries. You know, all over social media, there's, you have to have great boundaries. You have to be self-aware. You have to keep boundaries. But then nobody's talk about how boundaries used to go under the carpet once you're in love until they break your heart again, right? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into the topic, we have a few questions because we want our shows to be very conversational. We want to speak with the audience. We want to be able to have the audience throw in, because this is not just for us, really. Like, what do I know, please, to want to be telling people how to go about setting boundaries and how to have, like, be in relationships, right? But I think that the more we have conversations, the more we speak, the more people share experiences and knowledge, which was what made our first live show very interesting, because you could see that a couple people had things that they wanted to say, they wanted to share. So I have a few questions that I'm going to throw into the crowd, and I'm going to come to you. And please, when I come to you, don't ignore my mic. Don't ignore me, please. I'm shy. I can fall under the carpet. I can fall under the carpet if you ignore me. Right. So, I think I have my eyes on a few people. So my first question is, why do I keep replaying what happened in my head even when I don't want to? So if you've gone through a breakup, if you've gone through a friendship breakup, if you've gone through a divorce, and you know that sometimes these emotions, the experience stick to your brains. It takes a while for your heart and your mind to forget both the good times and the bad times, right? And then, there's that question. Someone sent in this question really to say, why can't they stop thinking about this other person? Why can't they stop thinking about what has happened, what went wrong? So this is my cue to come into my audience. You know I'm coming to you. And when you're looking at me, I was looking at you, I was like, we know ourselves. You know that I'm coming to you. So yeah.
Hi everyone. So I think there's a reason why we have memories. we want to be able to always take ourselves to terrains that sort of like give us reasons why we do certain things. And sometimes we also want to always sort of like keep track of our experiences to either reassure us that we are making the right decisions or to also help us check if we are actually on the right track, right? And I don't think anybody goes into any relationship with the intention of not making it work. So it's actually normal or natural that even if you have broken up with someone, that you would remember. But the problem then lies in if you're not in the relationship again, but you're still remembering. I think the question is exactly what are you remembering? Because you cannot forget the person that you have invested. If indeed you've invested in that relationship, I don't think it's something you can just forget. Humans are so deeply intertwined internally that it's not a cloth that you discard off. So, subject to how that experience has been and subject to what you are remembering, I think my question is exactly what are you remembering and where are you currently at in that very moment that you remember?
That's actually a very interesting answer. Really. Like, what are you remembering? So, I'm here with one of my guests, but before we introduce him, I have a question for Sam. Hi, Sam. How are you? Why are you looking at me like, are you nervous? Are you nervous? Okay, no. So, she said something. She said, humans are deeply intertwined, and it's not really about remembering, it's about what you remember. So, my question would be, is there a period? Do you think that remembrance or thinking about relationship or your breakup is it supposed to be in a period thing? Is it supposed to be a period thing, sorry, or is it something that somehow you just learn to deal with as you grow and even when you get into other relationships? Because can we say truly that we truly forget our exes when we get into other relationship?
Hi, so you did justice to it. Thank you for that. And I would like to say that you are human. Yeah. And part of that package is that you can escape the things that, especially when you've introduced your mind to a certain environment. Let me tell you what played out. You met this person, you were cautious, you were careful, but you kept on telling yourself, you kept on telling the mind. So I want you to externalize, see the mind as somebody else here. You were telling the mind that "Huh, it's okay, I'm safe here. This is going to be fine. Yeah. And you did that long enough for the mind to accept it. Now what happened? The mind now said, okay, you know what? I've accepted this. Something then happens. Then you now turn back to the mind and say, you know what? We are done here. And the mind is like, nah, we are going nowhere. You introduced this long enough. Yeah. And then to go towards asked, you fully cannot escape it, especially at the depth of emotional investment you committed to that relationship. There will be times that way down the line, you see, your life is good. Two kids, you're with somebody else, and then something else, maybe a perfume, something just, just tracks you back to that moment. But again, what I always say is that with time, every pain releases its hold over you. Yeah, so you can remember the same things that happened in the past, but again, the hold is no longer there. You are free, you can handle it better. But that's going to take time. I always like to say that because of the power of choice that we have over situations, we are not careful to consider the pain. There is no choice that doesn't come with pain. You let go of something. When you made that choice to be with that person, there was the pain of, the grief of, okay, this is what it means to be with this person, the grief of not knowing what it would be not to be with that person. Are you tracking? Yeah, now you're no longer with that person. Yeah, there's some sort of allocation of pain that comes with that scenario. You remember over time, you can handle it better. So thank you again for handling that well.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you. So I have one last question. But before I ask the question of my friend, I'll say, how many people here have experienced friendship breakups? Have you experienced friendship breakups before? Where your best friend left you, where where you people quarreled over man, or you people quarreled over woman, because that's like the highlight of friendship breakups half the time. They have pointed you. You don't even want to. Hello.
Vera.
Hello, raise your hand up. Okay, so, ma'am, on pink, I'm coming to you. My love.
Yeah, me see.
Because you were looking at me intensely. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Even without
Very
listening,
attentive.
very attentive. What would you say is the difference? I don't want to say which one is more painful, but I would say what would you say is the difference between friendship breakups and emotional romantic breakups?
I actually don't have an answer to this. No.
Now she they break people out.
You were like, you were.
No, I have.
You said she not remember.
Now she they break people out. Don't mind me, guys.
Some of us can relate, but okay. Um, for me, my first friendship breakup was in 2022. And I feel like I was not acting foolish. But anyway, like it was irreparable. And even till today, some things that happened in my life, I'm like, oh, I wish I can tell her. And maybe like to even answer your question, because when I was in a relationship, I remember thinking, oh God, I wish I can just go and meet her and just like, because there's this thing like I'll just lie on her laps and she's rubbing my head and I'm like, I wish like I wish she was there to provide like answers that I needed. And so for emotional breakup, I think it depends on who you are. If who you are and then what stage the relationship is. Because you could have decided or you'd have had an understanding that, oh, I'm actually done with this relationship. And so you'd have started preparing yourself in a way for the breakup. But friendship breakups, like you don't decide to break up with your friend. Like, or at least someone like me, I'm already imagining how our children will be playing. I'm already imagining how, or our husbands will have to know each other. So there's a big difference. So for someone that's gone through the two, I have not recovered from my friendship breakup. I constantly, I think even beginning of this year, I was thinking, oh, this girl had a dream to do this. How she started it. I'm that type of friend. I would be checking up. And so, like, I sort of have to start doing it in absentia. So, yeah, there's a big difference.
For some reasons, I've experienced both, and I think I would agree with her. Friendship breakup and emotional breakup, they're not the same. Right now, like she's pointing at me, there's a friend of mine that we are very close and we are not talking, right? We try to talk when we are in the midst of people so it's not awkward. But the truth is, if I would want to give her something, I'll have to get two now, right? Because I don't want a situation where I would subject her to start thinking that I don't care anymore, even if we are not talking. But if it was a guy that we are in the same community and we broke up, I promise you,
Otila.
oh, like, yeah, because the truth is, my friend, for me, I have friends that we've been around like for as long as I can remember. A relationship I am just coming into, right? But that is not to say that even if I break up or as I've broken up with some persons to be candid, there's nobody that I've been in a relationship with and that we are not in a relationship now that we don't talk, right? We still do talk, but it's just that the investment, I don't expect you to reciprocate anything, right? But a friend that I have, that my parents know, my siblings know, we've captured a lot of memories. We have dreamt together. We have aspired together. It's not easy to let go. It's not.
Oh my God. Who felt that sadness? So emotional. But it's funny because this now brings a lot of questions to mind. The way social media depicts friendship as something that is easy to cut off. So that means that's a lie. We're all just living for the gram.
I think friendship breakups are one of the very most hardest breakups to deal with. I'm a guy. I don't know how to If you say you're not talking to me again, I don't know how to keep that. You're not talking to me again. If I still see you outside, Alpha, what's up? That's me. But I know I will notice when there's already a drift. And if I saw us doing things, taking on the world, replacing the likes of Dangote, likes of Otedola together, and all of a sudden there's a distance, it's going to break me so much. Yes. As a guy, I can be very soft, you know. Yes, I'm not that of a hard guy. So, but I've had friends who, ladies especially, I've seen a lady spiral so much because she lost two friends, and it was an issue where they couldn't manage the situation, and it broke the three of them, and they all had to deal with it. But she was very emotional about it, and it broke. For the first time, I saw somebody crying like, "No, Chiki, you don't understand." I say, "Is there any other thing inside this?" But I know that friendship breakups are one of the hardest breakups. Business partner breakup. There's business partner breakup. Don't worry if you don't know. But the other one, the one they call premium breakfast. I'll leave that conversation for my two guests for us to really dive deeper into that. Back to my co-host.
I have two people here who have gone through friendship and romantic breakups, and they are passionate about sharing their experiences.
Fantabulous.
It will be, they are
I
very
love it.
passionate about sharing their experiences. It will be.
So, guys, before they share their drinks, smoothies, and all that, snacks, so please meet them at the bar for anything you know you want to, and you transfer to them. Okay, please go ahead. Who wants to share?
Yeah, me.
Amaka. Oh.
Hi.
Hi, Amaka.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Okay. My experience is actually friendship breakup. And what's actually quite interesting is the last time we spoke is 2019 or 2020. And I haven't still forgotten about her till date. And I'll tell you why. So we were in school 2016 to 2020. And I think I had a couple of people around me who kept telling me that, Amaka, you love this girl more than she loves you. Which didn't make any sense to me because she sleeps in my room, I sleep in her room, she cooks for me, I cook for her. We go to school together, we come back together, and all of that. You know, when she had parties in our home, like family parties, she would call me, hey, Amaka, come around. Like, if I really do care about you, it's not difficult for you to know that I care about you as well. I am a person of service, so I will give you my all, right? And giving you my all is to tell you that I love you, right? So come 2020, when we graduated, we had, like, because we're going, she's in Enugu, I'm in Lagos. There was a group chat that was created and all that. And for some reason, she just stopped interacting in that group chat. I think after a while, I tried to reach out. I couldn't reach out to her. And I genuinely thought, like, my assumption at that time was, okay, she blocked me. And I'm usually not a confrontational person, right? So I would usually try to see if the tension of the issue wades away before I can re-engage where I feel is safe. I'm no longer that person again, though, I think. But anyway, re-engaging with her, I asked, hey, are we good? The response I got was not the response of a friend who was concerned as to why I would feel that we're having an issue. So if I say, okay, Zora, are you angry with me? I don't expect you to say, I'm not the one making you feel angry. I expect you to say, why would you think I'm angry with you? Do you understand? So the response I got was strange, and it hurt me badly. And then I took that as, I don't know if I should have fought harder for the relationship. Genuinely, that's the question I keep having in my head. And then, like, I think 2 years after that response she gave to me, she then calls me. She sends me an IG message and then calls me. We talk it over, and then we both say that we want to restart the friendship. But a part of me knew that was an insincere admission because neither of us reached out to one another. And then that was the end of it, right? And then, as I'm going to say, Gen Z, millennial generation, we then just don't follow each other on social media anymore, right? But then from time to time, as you have said, I genuinely want to be sure, I think it was she, I genuinely want to be sure that you're doing well. So I think from time to time, I'll just go check her Instagram. Oh, she's doing well. She has a job, like she's glowing. And I'm like, oh, thank God for your life. And then what makes this whole process very difficult for me till date is I have a mutual with her. So like with the way Chike is now, so I'm still talking to Chike. Chike is still talking to Zora, but I am not speaking to Zora. And like Chike has a very good relationship with Zora, and I am not speaking. So it's harder because as I see Chike, I see Zora, but I can't get to Zora. It hurts me every day. Even I think I even spoke to this person I'm talking about at the mutual. I spoke to the person 3 days ago, right? So it's difficult for me, but I am learning. I think I'm getting to the point where I think I listened to something that said that you don't really know if you've forgiven someone if you can't speak to that person without remembering the hurts. Like, you know what happened, but you are no longer hurt. So I think I'm getting to the point where I can speak freely about her and like remember her without remembering the hurt. That's where I am with that. So I just wanted to say, because I want this to be the final day that I kind of let go of all the hurts and the betrayal. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Amaka. Don't worry, I know it will be good.
So this is a letting go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh my God. And
Zora, hold on, please.
Sorry, sir.
My fellow guys, nobody's saying anything. We don't get friendship breakup. Eh? Guys, no friendship breakup. I mean, now they did breaking up. All right, don't mind me. No shades though. I know, guys. I think because we know how to. Okay, where now it go be. Maybe that's why we don't always see it as friendship breakup. We just see it as okay. We don't move, but sometimes I know say they pain also. But just because the world has told us, man, they do that kind of thing. But I feel like it's okay for guys to even begin to tell themselves, "I love you, bro." Oh yes, it is something.
That conversation is.
It is something, guys. I'm gonna shake that table. I didn't want to do, but I want to do it. My fellow guys, it's high time we begin to tell ourselves, "I genuinely love you. You're doing good," and also, if you're not in a good place, you can genuinely tell your guy, "Bro, I need you now. Like at this point in my life, I need you." And also, if you're a guy, you guys are no more talking. It's valid for you to say, "Guy, it pain me, say me and you know be friend again, brotherly." Trust me, I am coming to that point now where I tell my male friends, "I love you, bro." When they do things for me very special, I tell them, "You're amazing, and I love you for it." I tell them, "Good night, bro." No boo. Oh no, boo. For me, boo is a strong word. Even my female friends, I don't tell them that. It's reserved for somebody else. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yes. So yeah, I think guys should also be able to unpack certain things, and let's not hold up. I'm not joining the bandwagon of people saying, "Oh, guys are not vulnerable." No, that's not what I'm saying. But you can be vulnerable with your guy and let your guy know that the thing we do or the thing we happen before, that thing touched me, and I felt it so hard deep inside my heart because I love you genuinely as a very good friend. So yeah, Zora, sorry. Let me allow you finish.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Bella. And I just wanted to share a little bit on this, friendship and emotional breakup thing. Because I personally experienced this last year, and it was thick and heavy in the sense that, so I'd grown up with this friend. We went to primary school together, and then we went to secondary school together. She then went to Canada and then started living out her life there. But then we still kept in touch. We were friends for the longest time. And so typically we had like classroom friends as well from secondary school. And we all had a WhatsApp group. When I went through my separation in my marriage, She was the entire group there, everyone was there for me, they supported me and all of that. And I was grateful. And then I made a decision to take my career seriously, face it head on. And last year, I was met with a decision. I was between the devil and the deep blue sea, basically. So it was either choose this training that will advance you in your career or attend your friend's wedding. Now, I wasn't just missing her wedding, I was missing my daughter's birthday as well. So Zara was with me on that training. I was I was really great applying into that training. So you can tell, for someone who came out top 3 in the application process, to now feel lost. It was a very heavy. I didn't know how to navigate my feelings being in the training and seeing that there was somewhere else that I wanted to be. I was distracted. I was in a my spirit is willing, my flesh is weak, my flesh is willing, my spirit is weak, everything. Like, it was a difficult time. And when I tried to communicate that this was what had happened, and like I'd bought Ashwebi, I'd made plans to travel and all of that, and none of that actualized. And so I apologized, I groveled, I begged, I cried. But she had the impression that I had led her on to believe that I was going to be present at the wedding. And I even tried to explain, like, I'm not just missing your wedding, I'm missing my daughter's 5th birthday. That is like a milestone birthday that I should be present for. But it didn't seem like she was ready to let go of it. So I let her be, let the wedding happen. A couple of months later, I would check in, In fact, I was checking in like almost every other weekend. How are you doing? Hope the stress is not getting to you through the wedding. Even on the day of the wedding, I still went into a corner, hid and cried, and then came back to my training. After the wedding, I checked in about maybe 2 weeks later because she was still in Lagos at the time, but she would see my messages and just ignore it. And then one day she just told me, I'm not ready to forgive you yet. So just leave it alone. And so I tried and I'm laughing about this now, but it was hard because this is somebody that, and which is the reason why I'm sharing this. Friendships it's especially when you have known this person maybe almost all of your life. I can beat my chest and say nobody knows me as well as she does. Even till now that we're not speaking as much, if you go up and ask her that, what do you think Bella would do in this situation? She will tell you exactly. She will tell you that, there's a possibility that she might have changed into this because this is who she wanted to be. That's how well this person knows me. And she was the yin to my yang in the sense that I'm a softie, but she was a rock. If anything was happening to me, she would say, don't worry, I've got you, and stand. And so losing that was I think it kind of destabilized me. It's like my marriage ended and then the grief that came after just kept getting worse. I lose my friends and the group, the WhatsApp group as well. So everybody now had that. There was just this withdrawal. I can tell in my spirit that they've created another WhatsApp group. They occasionally just come around on that WhatsApp group to make the place feel warm. But it's harder, especially from the fact that you've been with this person, you've known this person all your life, and the person probably just understands you. And so, I don't know. I mean, at the end of last year, I told myself that this is not a weight I'm willing to carry into 2025. So I forgave her. I let her know that I'm not angry that you are upset at me.
Amazing.
I still love you. And I will still check in from time to time. I still check in. In fact, this month, I still sent her a message. How are you doing? How is family? They had the traditional wedding last year. This time, they had the white wedding this year, this month. She didn't tell me. I just saw it on somebody's Insta story that, happy wedding, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm like, okay. If it's not communicated on the WhatsApp group, then there's definitely another group.
Somewhere else. Ouch.
And I wasn't told, and that's okay too.
That's
But
not okay. Like, it's fine to say that's not okay.
no, I'm saying that from my end, I've told myself that this is not a weight I'm going to carry
Cool.
anymore. It's not because it's just easy for me to cut her off. It's just that there's a lot going on in life, and life is really short. The more time that I feel like I spend dwelling on this issue, the more I feel like I'm losing out on so many other friendships. And I cannot tell you that I haven't gained more friends. I can't tell you that I haven't met people who truly, really love and appreciate me since then. So, yep.
That's so profound. I know that for some people, it's not easy to burn bridges. Even if you were at fault sometimes, you still also tell yourself that this can still work. Some of us, even if when they hurt us, we still don't want to burn the bridge. But some people, burn them, make it scatter. They don't care. So, but I know we just try to give grace. And I'm happy you said you have forgiven and you are also letting go of the pain. But you'll still think about it, trust me, because you're amazing. It's all right. So, guys, we're going into the show proper. That's my producer, by the way. A round of applause for her. And let's tell her, don't worry, I know you'll be good. So, I'm about to introduce somebody who I engage his content a whole lot. He's one guy that the first day I stumbled on his content, I was like, huh? Who's this person? It was super, it touched me in a place where, calm down. Somebody's already looking at me. The content hit me somewhere that was very, very important. I'm like, okay. In fact, the content was talking to me direct. Say, GK, take your sub and go and do the work. Is the person of Mr. Blessed. He actually is a relationship, friendship, everything ship that has to do with two people. He talks about them very, very vocally, and he will use a real life fact to actually send down the message. There was one he did about Third Milan Bridge, and he landed on the conversation. I said, this is storytelling on a different level. I would like to welcome him onto the stage to join us.
You guys, please clap for my guest. Hey.
I'm honored to have him here with us. It's my pleasure that he's able to join us today. And we also have somebody else. She's running late for some things that she couldn't control, but she's going to join us along the way.
Yeah.
So I'll hand over to my co-host.
Why are you guys handing over to me?
I'm handing it over. We are handing
All
over.
right, guys. So into the show proper. Hi, Blessed Sam. How are you?
Hi, hello.
How does it feel to be in front of these beautiful people?
I used to be the HOD of a small choir, so she's like that with them.
So people should sing. Say it's a church of choir.
Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from.
And the choristers in the house.
Okay, so today's conversation is something that I don't even know if it's timely, to be very honest, because during the course of this week, so many people have gone through heartbreaks and just some sort of pain. And I'm, coming down to today, I kept like, today that we're talking about heartbreak and boundaries. Your people are just breaking up left and right. Is there something in the air? But it just really shows that it is very timely and it's something that I'm feeling that we need to give a perspective to differently. And so my first question, if I want to go from the conversations we've had in the crowd, is we've talked about, people have shared how, they don't talk to their friends again. Bella's story, her story, even wanting to let go finally. But one of the things that I kind of find out, especially from social media, is I feel like people don't understand the place of time when it comes to healing and coming back to a friendship, and how time lets you grow and how time lets you rebuild. And this is for both persons, not for the person that really wants to work on the relationship. Even for the other person that feels like the relationship is gone, it's also a thing of, I would just say, people feel like it's easier to cut off friendship than to cut off their boyfriends. I mean, women will give their boyfriends 100 chances and give their friend one. I can say that from experience. And I know a lot of people that have done so. Women will give their, even men might, I don't know, because men are, I like to say that men are selfish with their choices, but women will give their boyfriends 100 chances, but one friend is a no. Like, you've done this, oh my God, I can't do this. So I think that for me, it's a perspective of not understanding the role that time plays, and the fact that relationships sometimes, just like romantic relationships, friendships go through seasons where, yes, there might be quarrels, yes, we might not be in speaking terms, but we're going to let time do the work.
So it's interesting that you started from there because I was thinking about everything they said. Particularly, let me speak to Amaka directly because I know her. So I'm going to give a bit of. I'm not on your side. So if you have questions, I'm most likely not be on your side. Yeah. So prepare for that. I'll give you stories to land my points, like you said. With friendship, with relationship, with marriages, is based on what I do and the work God has committed in my care and all that. I always like to point or paint this picture. Imagine Amaka and my friend Victor. Two people. Yeah. And then you're holding boxes. Yeah. Big boxes. And Victor is ahead. Then he opens the door with his leg, or you know the way we do, you can use your elbow to open the door and all that. And then he holds it still for Amaka to walk through. They are both carrying boxes. Yeah. I like to say that the blessing of feeling the most intense pain in a relationship, we are not aware. And let me explain. There is the grace that comes with that kind of pain. That a lot of times you are positioned to hold the door in that way for the person coming behind you. And let me backtrack a bit. See, as nice as we all look, everybody, we've gone through one event, traumatic ones, the ones we've swept under the rug, the ones we've hung on the shelf, just things that has given definition to the Zora that people see today. Yeah, so where you are sat, there is the experience of your mom, your dad, your teachers, all of them, whoever committed a voice or care in your direction that taught you that this is the way life should be lived. Now you took all of that definition and became this Zora. Now there's Chike, who grew up somewhere in the north. No 247 lights, had a wicked teacher, all of that. Also lived through all of that to become this Chike. Yeah, then two people meet. Yeah. So based on the peculiarity of the life that we've lived, yeah, one person will be given the burden to undo the pain that comes with this commitment. Now, this is the trick. Not all the time. The way people give up is when they give up on the same day. Yeah. If you give up today and it's still good, it's strong, it can shield the weight of the relationship and say, I will carry this. I will carry this. What happens is if you give up on the same day, then there's a problem with both of you. Now, going back to it. I understand that there's context to things happened. Yeah, but I'm not usually on the side of crashing relationship and friendship. When you spoke, there was a lot of, I don't know if everybody felt it, a lot of emotions came with what you said. It was weighty, it was strong. Some sort of energy is still in that direction. Yeah. I know you've done your best. I was telling Victor that there's usually context to a lot of things. We can just sit here and say, this happened, that happened, this happened. But a lot happened underneath how this person is feeling. This person is also carrying a bag of things. And maybe this moment you've been given the grace to hold the door for that person. Always think like that. I'm holding the door for this person to walk through. Yeah, so and when I say things like this, people are like, oh no, it now looks like it's one-sided. I'm not in your friendship. You chose the friendship, yeah? Are they Yoruba guys? You chose this friendship, yeah? And I always like to say, choose your grief. There's the grief of, if I let this go, then I have to grieve not knowing what this would have become, yeah? There's also the grief of, if I stay here, I have to grieve what would have happened, yeah, if I let go. Yeah, choose your grief and let that be the decider on what you work on. Now, there's the grief of there's an in-between person. I talk to this person, I can't get a chike. That's a lot to handle. Yeah. Weigh it against the grief of where you are right now, not talking to the person. Which one? Let it be the decider. Use grief, use grace, use all of these things. But you see, to let go, because you know what has happened. There's a lot of how to live online, conversations like that, little about tolerance and how to stay. And it's painful. Everybody is vocal about, you can spot a red flag from that. You see, from Oshodi, I said, out it's your red flag. It's red flag is coming close. Yeah. But what about grace? What about the commitment that has been? See, this is tough. See, people are looking at me like a wicked person. But I know. I've been there. When they said friendship, I looked at both of them. They've been my friends for the long. I'm like, oh, this ones don't have problem. We don't. You see, guys, our case is, Baba, you mess up this and this. But I know with ladies, because you guys commit a lot of, it's painful.
Was it that guys don't commit emotions to their
So
friendships?
I think with us, we've well. So with that, sometimes we sweep things on the. Now he's here. He's not going to like this story. So yeah. I'm going to use them as example a lot. We've been friends for a long time, and then in school, he gave me money. Yeah, he borrowed me money. Me, I'm very honest. He borrowed me money. I think it was 70,000 or something like that. Yeah, 70K. Yes. And then I said that, yeah, it was a lot in school. So, are you joking? 70,000 for someone to give you 70,000 like maybe 7 years ago? A student.
Student.
Yeah.
I'm on you.
And then, so I'd said that I was going to return the money a particular date. Then that date passed. I didn't say anything. We spoke about sports, but I didn't touch the money. I'm like, okay, he understands I'm going through a lot. I'm going to give him the money. Abi. And then I didn't say anything. Then he called me one day. Said, guy, we need to talk. I still wanted to. About how far now? Your girlfriend or something like that. He said, no, this is serious. That was the first time. I'm like, hey, Jesus. And then he said that, I've noticed something. I was like, serious conversation. I remember this conversation because of the weight of it. We can joke and all that, but I remember this particular one. He said that, it was not like the way I didn't talk about that money. I'm like, Jesus.
Pierce the heart.
Yeah, and I felt that was the first conversation with a friend. We guys can man you and Arsenal things away in that way.
Finesse the
but
things
that
away, yeah.
was strong. And I said to him, oh my God, I thought you knew what was going on. He said, no, yeah, he gets it, but he would have wanted me to talk about it.
Communicate.
Yeah. Now, that could have gone in 1,000 different directions. I could have gone, doesn't he understand? Or what about the times I've paid and this and that? Yeah, but for the first time, I think I said to him that, well, this is serious. Yeah, and then I apologized, and I think I looked for the money and that, but that could have caused a lot of problem between us. Yeah, so I think with guys, there's a bit of, I'm speaking for my gender, and maybe I'm selfish. Yeah, but there's a bit of, we can talk about it, and the next minute, like, Alpha, this and this kind of thing, and then we move on with. But I know, ladies, you guys commit a lot to it, and that's good. You guys are the good guys here. Yeah. Also, I wanted to quickly drive by what you said. So, this is another balance. There's friendship by proximity. You guys were in school, and because you guys saw each other and did a lot of things together, that friendship can grow under that atmosphere. Sometimes, too, it's seasonal. There are things that, I'm not saying you should cut them off entirely, but you just know that, this survived because of the proximity we shared for a while. Yeah. And then when you move into a different, it's a different dynamics. When we put up a content that wanted to do friends therapy and people reached out with different issues, or because she got married, she has stopped talking to me. I still like her. I don't like her husband.
Now, marriage conversation.
And this and
I
this
feel like
and
I want
that.
to have it.
Yeah, so it can go in different direction. But again, I say to you, especially for those who are here today, that sometimes you are committed a level of pain. You are given a level of pain because of the grace you have to hold in hand for the continuity of what you think means a lot to you. The Amaka is scratching her head already, sir. Okay. So let me explain something. 2 types of pain. There is the chosen one. You came all the way from where that's painful to get yourself down here for this conversation. That's chosen pain. There is the one that is committed to you without you didn't ask for it. It just happened to you. They break your heart. You lose somebody and all that. We have to draw value, the same level of value for both of them in that way. That when something happens to you, that's the way I think. If it happens to you, it's because it can happen to you. in that moment. Everything that made it happen to you, symposium discussion, you and God will settle it. But it came your way for a purpose. And that's where I like to think from. So if that pain finds you, I like to believe that you and God will have to deal with that. Yes. But to say that because I chose this pain, I can draw value from this pain, the one I didn't choose, this person broke my heart, and now no, I don't have to bear it. No, I don't like to think. You know why? I see what this is doing to relationships, to marriages, to yeah. I sit on this side and I listen to my clients and hear them share a lot. And I'm saying that somewhere in our story, yeah, somewhere. You see what I said about two people carrying boxes. Until we start talking, until you've been in a session with me, you're not even aware of the boxes you're carrying. You're carrying a lot. Just being there, being you right now. And then holding the same understanding for the next person that this person is carrying boxes too. And if I go ahead to hold the door for that person, that's because in that moment it is committed to me. What I always draw as the red line is if all the time, you now have to hold the door. That when she gets to the door and then she doesn't hold it, like I said, when both of you give up on the same day, that's when there's a problem. On the days where you are strong and you have to carry the weight of that relationship, I don't want you to discard it because of, yes.
I don't know if anyone saw that, like Michelle Obama's interview, and she talked about something like this about how, like, in a marriage, it's not 50-50, sometimes it's 60-40, that it's not at every time we're both bringing equally, but it's important to understand that at like different moments, each of us should be able to feel each other's cup, or each of us should be able to measure up together to make the 100. Sorry, that's right. Just
Yeah, that's fantastic. With this, what you just said, I think the idea of 50-50 is flawed. It is two people coming together to do life. And the days where I can't really show up, you fill up for me. The days you can show up, I fill up for you. And there's something new I learned today. My pastor said, it is me and God completes me. Then my partner and God completes her. And we come together and we now complete and become one. So there is no 50-50. It is us together 100. The day I can be 80, she's 80, I'm 20. The day she's 20 or 30, I'm 70. So it comes together, and that's where the teamwork comes into play. Before we go forward, let me introduce our other guest. She just walked in. I call her the Lioness. Very amazing. So she takes stages across multiple international events. She's somebody who I've been watching her when she delivers the conversation of Nigeria. Yes, she works with News Central as one of their major persons. She's in person of Inam. Inam, please come up, please. I call her the Lioness. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
Hi, Nam. How are you? So glad you could finally join us. Okay, that's fine. But we've gone into the topic and we started with having conversations regarding friendships. Now, you have said something like, oh, there are graces to carry the burdens in friendship. And mind you, please don't. I like that you didn't stick to just friendship. You talked about relationship too. But my next question, or what I want to say next, would be, do you think that there's a deficiency of an understanding with people? I talked about time and doing the work. And with what you said, where understanding the basis of and the foundation of your friendships, where you might be in school. Like I had a best friend in school and we were best friends for a long time. But ours got to a point where I just knew. Also, guys, there's also a knowing that it gets to a point where a friendship needs to end. Yes. Like there are friendships that need to end.
I mean, I think
For you
to better understand, sometimes there's the next phase you're going to.
It's not about phase. I'm so sorry. I don't like when
Okay.
people try to kind of spiritualize or phase things.
Okay.
You know, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to the next phase of my life. She can't follow me there. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like it's a natural thing. It's a societal thing, right? It's like when you know that you need to leave your family and go into your husband's house. Nobody's going to tell you, it's the next phase of your journey. Your family will not follow you there. You just know it, right? It's like when you go from primary to secondary and you're going to the university. There are friendships that when you weigh, you know that, okay, we might probably leave school and this friendship will not carry on. We might now go back to being acquainted. And I think that when people now come back to say, oh, you need to know if a person is meant to be an acquaintance, your friend, or your close friend, it depends on the person, of course. You have to have a level of self-awareness to know who gets into your circle, who is where, who belongs to, do you understand, every other part of your life. So I feel like most people, firstly, don't have that understanding of themselves. And because of the lack of self-awareness, they don't know when certain things should come to an end. For example, if we talk about relationships, there are relationships and romantic relationships that need to end. It's not a must that it must get to marriage. And it doesn't have to end to with a bad breakup. It ends bad because the two of you have refused to just let it go. You people want to figure yourself and tie it to you by force marrying, and tomorrow you say that somebody beat you, or you say that tomorrow is not available, and then you come out by yourself. Because there are people that know that this relationship should not get to a place of marriage, but they just want to force it. It comes to a point, romantic relationship was a construct made by men. If we want to go through God, it's not a date. God never asked you to date anybody. You people decided to start dating, decided the terms of your dating, decided how long you want to date, decided when your dating should end. You guys did that to yourselves. Humans did that to themselves. So now we've gone to the point where now we now decide, it's like now, if you don't give me a chocolate cake with milk on top, you've not asked me to be your girlfriend. If you don't kneel down, you've not asked me to be your wife. And then we now have different societal constructs and different societies saying, like in India, for God's sakes, women provide the dowry.
Oh, yes.
If you do that in Nigeria, they will ask you that you are mad.
Are you okay?
Right? So these things are social constructs that humans created themselves, and it's affecting us. But then a lot of us, I feel like we refuse to come to an understanding that this is just a human thing. Right? So when I talk about time in the process of growth and coming back to heal relationship, also, let me give an example. Amaka, a lot of people don't want to have conversations. They are very avoidant. Rather not have the conversation and just hold your pain and go. Some of us want to be the hard guys. And so we're going to, you know what, I can deal without you in my life. I can move forward. And it is paining you. But you decided to hold your pain and then you're going. So I think the next phase for me, and next, I don't think it's a question, but something I want you to weigh in on. Inam, you can also weigh on this, is what should be signals to people to know when to let go of any sort of relationships. And we can go to boundaries because, of course, boundaries help you know when this has crossed a line, when you shouldn't go into something. At least, if we had boundaries that people follow in Nigeria, we should know that when a man is married, you're not supposed to go there.
When a woman is married, you should leave her alone.
Right? We should know the boundaries of marriages, which every day in our society feels like it's being swept under the carpet, it's being blurred. So what are signals that people could use to know the boundaries when it comes to friendship, relationships, and marriages?
I think there's some things that you said that I agree with and some other things that I don't agree with. And I think the first one, not to say I don't necessarily agree, I think it is a system that we have created for ourselves when we talk about phases, right? And that's just how people compartmentalize their growth and measure where they are in life. Because if you are staying in your mother's house and then you get married, you are transitioning into a different phase of your life. You are no longer a single woman. So it is a phase. When you are in high school and then you are getting ready to go to university, there is a phase. And the reality that you just said is that not everybody can follow you in the different phases and transitions of your life. And I think sometimes, like you said, we live in a society where you feel like you need to accommodate everything. And it becomes the weight becomes heavy on you because the reality is that you cannot handle everything. I think the two things that you need to understand as an individual, and I think this is where value comes from. Unfortunately, we live in a world where many of us don't really value ourselves, because if you valued yourself, there are certain things that you would not take. You would not take. And when we talk about value, people sometimes, and I think I'll let him define what value is, because I know that he is a coach, right? People, you, right? So it starts with understanding what value is. If you understand the value of a naira, you will not use it anyhow. If you understand the value of a dollar, you will wait until the naira plunders before you change it, because you understand its value. If you understood your value, there are certain relationships that you would not hold on to, especially when they're supposed to end. But the problem is, sometimes I will hold on to Chike because I feel like my value is somewhat tied to Chike, even when I know that it needs to end. I think the reality that we need to set for ourselves is that, guys, it is absolutely okay to outgrow people. Yes, in this day and age in life, there are people that you are going to outgrow. And when you have outgrown them, it's absolutely okay for you to have an adult conversation. Don't gaslight people, because people do that. Relationships need to end, but the mature thing is that you end relationships amicably. I sit down with Chike and I say, you know what, bro, no hard feelings, though. End it. Like, it's like a relationship. End it such that we know that if I see him at Landmark, hi, how are you? But if I'm getting married, he may not get an invitation. Not because I hate him, but because the relationship has ended. Because it is possible that he has outgrown me, or I have outgrown him. And you need to be comfortable with the fact that as you are getting older in life, the people that you started with in high school, it's not by force to take them with you to university. The people that were your best friends in university, it's not mandatory for you to take them with to adulthood. But the problem with us is we've got this attachment and lack of understanding of value and principle that puts us in a place where, oh no, I have to take this person with me. So I think, going back to what she said with regards to what are the markers and indicators, it starts with your values. Where do you see yourself? This person has been my best friend, but do I see this person with me? There's a scripture that says iron sharpens iron. As we are friends, is it vibes and inshallah? Or are we both benefiting from the fact that this friendship still makes sense? You need to get to a point in your life where, so because I think we're all Christians here, I've said it to them before, it came a point where they were like, oh, fine girl, you need to get married, you know? And at one point, my spiritual father sat me down because they broke my heart. And it took me years to recover from that. But then when I began to recover from it, he noticed that my mindset had shifted. And he made a statement to me and he said, why does it look like I am more strategic than I am emotional with the decision I'm making as to who I want to marry? And because that's when I got to understand that it's not about emotions. It's very strategic. Where you want to go in life, the person that you are with, can we get there together? If we can't get there together, just be my guy. But let me attach myself to someone who can get me there. It's not a manipulation thing. It is just an understanding of the fact that two can chase 10,000.
That's a business decision, guys.
Guys.
You got to see that marriage is a business decision,
I,
guys.
I also want to create a soft landing. So some people will take this out of context and think it's a, maybe for guys, I need a woman who, how connected is she, or the kind of family she comes from. That can be a thing, but that's not the basis of what she's talking about. Well, the basis of what I feel and I want to believe she's talking about is where I'm going to as a man, because why I like to use the man first is because the man creates the vision where he wants to go to. Where am I going to? And who is that woman that I believe that the level of work I've put into myself, am I seeing her also putting that work into herself? And we can come together and agree that if I as a man have been chasing 1,000, with her strength coming together as one, she, we, myself, and we is now an us, no more an I. We can put in together, whether it has to do with the resources we both have, physically, emotionally, spiritually, right, and we can chase that vision and we can do the work and we become one very strong, formidable force together. I think I want to believe that's what.
Just to add on to that, right? I'm so sorry. I'm making up for the time I missed. There was because I think the heartbreak we are talking about is both relationship and just general friendships, right? Because I think the most painful heartbreaks are not even the boyfriend and girlfriend, as the friendship ones. But again, going to the question that she had said as to how do you know, I learned something in this life. When we're talking about compatibility, right? Nowadays, when you are making friends or you're getting to a relationship, a person will ask, Chike will come and say, I feel like Mojola is my wife. And then we'll ask and say, how do you know? And then somebody will say, there's this peace. She gives me peace. She gives
What
me
is that
peace.
piece? Tell me.
She gives me peace. Anytime I speak to her, I feel this peace. I feel calm. Somebody said to me, do you know that it is possible that God can still say that person is your wife and you lose your peace? But the problem is all of us are
I
looking for
think,
this.
to just give an example, my friend says that every time God tries to confirm something to him, he has to lose his peace.
Thank you.
If he has peace, it's not God.
Do you understand? So then it gets to a point now where you're like, but what is the benchmark? How do I know if it is God or not? And for me, when it comes to relationships, friendship and romantic, and I say it all the time, anybody that looks like, oh, fine girl, there are specific questions that I ask. But if there's anything that I have learned, which I would also like to share here, is that when you are looking for the ideal candidate, either it is a friend or relationship, what you do is it's not peace you're looking for. It's not. What you need to do as an individual is, I'm looking at Chike, like what he just said. I'm looking at where he's going. For a woman, actually, let me just put it straight for women. When you are choosing or wanting to, after you have healed, of course, because you have to heal, but when you have come to that season in your life where you are ready again to allow yourself to be caught by the fishermen, right? There are certain things that you need to look for. Look at a man, look at where the man is going. Don't necessarily ask yourself, can I help him? If a man is painting a canvas of his vision for you, if you don't see yourself in that vision, then that is possible. That's not your person. It's not about praying and saying, oh, I had a dream and I was wearing a white dress. No. Chike has started a farm, right? I know nothing about farming. But he gives me goosebumps and butterflies. There is more to it. There are things that we need to be practical about. There's a guy that I like. I'm going to raise it because he's my guy. That passed away a few days ago. And if you can sit down and butcher some of the things that he says, that is when you get to understand that we have lost translation of many, many things. It is your responsibility as a person, when I'm listening to Chike talk, as he's talking and identifying his purpose, do I see myself in his purpose? I don't want to force myself to fit into it. Do I see myself? If I'm going to be friends with you, do I see myself in your purpose? If I don't see it, it's not my responsibility to create room for myself to fit in your life. I should see the fit. And if it's not there, it's absolutely okay for me to say, it's not there. Let's just be acquaintances. You know?
I like that we're doing like this. Because when push comes to
I don't know.
shove,
What do you have to
I
say?
need you to
Because
reduce your emotion and find yourself in that.
I think some tables have been shaking here. Even my own, they don't shake and small.
Yeah, but before you go, so she has said something that, hi guys, we're here and there's audio, please. You're distracting our audio. Thanks. So she has said something that ties into, if people were here at our first live show and we spoke about, the God said, purpose and vision and tied that all in. And now we're going to, for women, seeing yourself in the vision of a man, and for men, creating a vision that a woman can see herself in. But then there's also the place of, for me, holding on the values that should first bring two people together because someone can have a vision. Like, for example, Chike, let's use Chike for example, my man. So Chike started a farm, right? I don't know anything about farming, but I have interest when it comes to seed preservation. So now when we have conversations, I'm like, oh my God, this. But then Chike is still not my man. Because as much as I can see where to put myself inside that vision, I can see that, okay, if I work with Chike on this, right, we can have something. But there's still the part of values that I feel like a lot of people don't know how to pick out when it comes to choosing. And this, for me, is especially friendships. Because what happens to us with friends is, what happens with us when we're picking friendships is that you probably see someone and you guys meet at an event and you have conversations and then you're great. And then, the person checks on you and then you guys figure that you have one or two mutuals and then you become friends. What are the values that you should look out for when you're picking a friend that you want to chase 10,000 with? Because we also know that friendships grow. And if we're using phases, friendship come in phases. But what are those values? What should people seek out for women and even for men? I'm going to start with him because I want him to define values. You know, where I said you define values. So, yeah.
So I'm going to start from something that you guys have touched on. So coincidentally, I have some guys in my house right now. They are painting my house and then doing the POP work and all that. And then one of them called me yesterday and said that I need to see something in the roof, like a broken pipe, because I thought it was extorting me, just collecting money. And he said I have to climb up. So I went into the roof. So the first time I was entering the roof of my own apartment. And then I saw the dirtiness, the confusion of pipes and roots all running. So if you're in my apartment, you see this design, it's nice. But then if you go into this roof, trust me, the back end is not as pretty. Yeah, woods, and I was confused. I'm like, someone can die here and this person will be here for life and they won't even know that you are here. Yeah, I'm saying that what we talk about on the surface, I deal with the back end in my job where people think that because we are aligned on this and then we get married based on that, and then you have to see a therapist, that what I saw is not
what I got.
Because he wants to be a farmer. And I was, God gave me the vision that I was going to be with a farmer. Then life happened. Now it's not a footballer.
I feel like we should even try to get into those dreams. I feel like half the time the dreams are malaria dreams, but let's...
Yeah, so I'm saying that there's a surface conversation we have around things like this, but there's a different reality that plays out underneath all of these things, yeah? And so this guy wants to become a footballer now, and then where do I fit in this new direction this guy is going? Back to the question of value.
Yeah.
So I look for the quality of the person's character.
Okay.
Honesty, integrity, those things. I'm not, again, when looking at those things, I'm not looking at the extreme. I'm not saying, okay, don't let me use them again, it's unfair. Yeah, so because a lot of times, and I was sharing something with Victor coming here. I said that, before, we used to, when I was learning, the phase of honeymoon in relationships. Used to be like,
the honeymoon.
it used to be like 3 years, 4 years. You could meet somebody, and then you get married, and then, the first 2-3 years, they're all good. Like, you cannot see yourself finish. Do you know that has declined? It's as bad as 2 months. I was sharing a statistic with him that...
Bro.
Yeah, hold on.
Scary.
People's honeymoon phase now is 2 months.
Most of my clients and the people I've cancelled this year, yeah, the ones with severe issues are those who got married this year. This year. Like,
so I married my best friend.
All the best friends they marry, what's happening?
So hold on, it's Mr. Sam, we got married in so months ago, and this is what I'm saying. So I'm saying that sometimes we stay on the surface of things. We are on the surface discussing, we are aligned. I like the way this person, to share business if he knows how to negotiate. We stay on that. But then we forget that there's the back end of things that's likely to change. That this person you are seeing now is the version of them that you are seeing for the moment. We have to be able to work with something a bit more foundational and fundamental beyond.
Okay, so are we going back to the basis of time that I've spoken about?
And I was going there. That what I always tell people. There's a lot of complexity right now. The mind is overstimulated with information. We know too much. To be honest with you guys, we know too much. Too much.
Way more than our parents' time.
Sharp. Everybody knows how to...
Okay.
I don't even think it's the knowing too much.
Okay, let me balance that because
I think it's just having information.
Too many
knowing.
options. It's not even too much. It's the too many options.
So with the level of exposure that comes with everything we see on social media, avails the options of okay. So there's that overexposure, in my opinion, that we've lost the basics. So this is what happens when you get exposed. You know so much, yeah, but tolerance has remained this way. Do you get my point? So
Grace.
We are aware. I can look at this person and I'm aware. When a lady does this, yeah, this is what it means. You can have conversation. So I was doing something on TikTok recently, and then you go up. 10 ways to spot somebody, and then you go up. When a woman does, and then you go up. 15 signs of red flag, and then you go up. And so much like that. Yeah, and I
See,
was so,
guys, the worst is this: how to bag a high value man.
A high value woman.
Woman.
Rather.
Bro, the guys that make those content piss me off.
so,
But
I,
let's
so,
not
so
go
I
there.
always say that we have to go back to the basic. Two people, and I like what you said about iron sharpness
Iron.
But you know that scripture didn't say who is dull in the moment or who is sharp. So sometimes we are all rubbing. This person is sharper, and sometimes you have to stand and sharpen this other person.
Stand.
Yeah. So
Please.
it doesn't mean that we are both dull at the same time. We are sharp at the same time. Yeah. But so you see that basic of, okay, I'm working with human. And like what I said when you're not around, going back to the basic of this person has a back end that's not as pretty. It's like that roof. If you know a bit of computer, the front and the website is pretty. The fonts are nice. If you see the back end,
You will run.
that same thing. You know that click and respond that you see on the surface. If you see the back end with lines of code, you will get lost in it. Understanding that we all come with that back end. Do you know Gondik TV? Oh, no. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, we're not tech people here. Calm down.
No. So Gondik TV is one of those big TVs in those times.
Like,
No, this is
that
small.
close.
So this is the front. But you see the back.
Very big. Very long. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you limit everything to what you see on the surface, it's a color TV, it's nice, but you open it up and then you see the confusion of wire. We are like that as humans. I'm saying that if you live here with anything, hold that understanding that the person sitting next to you is carrying so much in back end that what you see, it's just so again back to it. Because I talk. Yeah, so back to it. So defining values away from what I can see on the front end.
Yeah.
I would hold the honesty. Let me ask you a question. If a thief walks into this place and tells you not to steal in your life, the person knows the mic and say, stealing is bad. And then a pastor who has never stolen in his life walks into this place and says, stealing is bad. One owes credibility. Who's starting?
The pastor.
No, the thief.
The thief.
From experience.
Actually.
So, yes, mo ti jalè rí, ìgbà táwọn ń gbébọn. So, oh, God bless you. So, when I used to steal, I know how to size somebody up and steal. And the person holds the mic and says, stealing is bad. And then there's this saint that's never stolen in his life. Now, if you judge on the surface the credibility of what they're saying to you, you will go with the pastor. But you know there's the thief that has gone through the rudiments of stealing and can profile somebody and knows how to jump a window and go all of that, and says that stealing is bad. We have to look beyond. Because I can then say that, how do I hold your word when there's a pastor telling me that? But then there's the back end of you that I have to be open to, which is what is missing online today. We are all on the surface saying, don't do this. Somebody does this to you, walk away. If he does this to you, say, so one of my clients, I think last year, I said, what was the issue? He said, he snapped at me. And I want to leave marriage. I understand it. I understand that can be the start of something really severe. But you see, again, so I don't want them to find me at the institute and say I'm saying this. You have to do the work of, look at the back end. Don't leave because he snapped at you. Now, this is tough to say because, again, because you will find 100 people telling you that if he snaps at you, and you know when someone is describing it, you can describe a story from your own view. Like the way he snapped at me, he was shaking. It was shaking. And then you talk to the other person, and the person said, it was the fear of what I witnessed. And the only reason why I snapped was the way to let out. I didn't want to do anything in that moment. Somebody else would have chosen a slap, would have thrown something at you. My mom threw slippers. My dad kept quiet. Yeah. If you see it play out in my relationship and judge me based on that, it's coming from somewhere too. Yeah. And I don't throw slippers. I chose silence for a long time until somebody said that you can keep malice for Africa. I say me. So I've noticed that when there's an issue, you just keep quiet. And I don't like that. That's someone that came from a family of,
They talk.
Yeah. So, they talk. They can sit down, talk about. Me, I don't want to say something wrong. You see the way I'm doing pray. It can come out like that in an argument. So I have to be careful and hold back. If you run and say, that man kiss malice too much. No, I don't care. I'm guarding myself not to say something else. Are you mad? No. Did you get so? Understanding that... I'm sorry. So understanding that there's a back end to things. I don't want us to be on the surface. The back end is what I treat in therapy.
Yeah.
Yes, Ejo. It's not like that. But we are just vocal with the front end and,
So I think this goes back to, Inam, I'm going to come to you. I think this, sorry guys, I'm trying to put my thoughts together. So it's like when you said that we know too much, and I said that I don't think that we know too much. Because I believe that knowing is coming into understanding truly what something is and being able to act on it. Yeah?
I'm not being a therapist right now.
Don't be a therapist of me.
If you heard right, you see how we are all at peace here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then somebody walks into this place and says that they are shooting at that bus stop. Yeah. Just somebody shooting there. You know, everybody here is now a bit
Disoriented.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that there is the burden of knowledge that we are not usually attuned to.
Okay.
Yes.
If that's what
So
you're saying.
you know so much that you lose sight of the back end. Like I said, tolerance is now at this level. That's what I have problem with. Yeah.
So you just have so many. There's an overload of
there is-
information
and then
that you
led to
know,
decision
and then what you
paralysis,
see.
you don't know. And like I said at the start, that we know so much on how to live that the little about how to even stay and do the work. I'm genuinely concerned about. So let me tell you what sells in my line of work.
Shake this table.
If I put up a content right now and say that your man is a cheat, 4 ways to find out. I promise you, I will get
A
clients.
lot of
tomorrow.
times.
I will get clients. But then I said that the mandate upon my life is, we've lost the basic. How do we heal? How do we go through all of these things? And then I get dragged in my DM. Yeah, so innocence. The last one that we put, I was telling Victor that the last one we put out that what will be. That conversation, we are going to relationship, what will be. It's a dirty attitude because it sort of puts you in a frame where you enter a place and you are scanning for the door. Yeah, what will be kind of attitude. Like, I understand that sometimes we leave things to providence and God to align things and all that. But you see that mentality. I was explaining how this is a problem in this dispensation. And then they came into my DM.
I want to say something concerning this. What?
Wait, let's
hold on.
you finish.
I'm coming. About the what will be. But I have a very weird view about it. So, what will be, for me, I believe it. But we always say what will be because we want it to be positive. So, you are in a relationship with me. I'm putting in so much work.
You guys, the way Chike is
So-
it's not scary.
No. Or I have we started dating, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And there's so much brick wall we're hitting. So I'm the guy, you are the person, the lady is the person who wants to put in the work so much. And I'm the nonchalant one not putting in the work. And I'm saying what will be. The what will be for me is that the relationship will end and she walk out the door.
Chike, then I have a question
I'm
of your
coming.
selection and choice.
Yes, I know.
Which you have to take responsibility for.
Yes.
Good.
So we want to
Just in case quarrel starts.
yes.
here.
We want to what will be with our bad behavior, and what will be will not be good thing. No. You can't what will be and be hoping that I planted mango, I want to reap granite. No. It is the bad character and bad behavior that you have put into that relationship that will be. Meaning the person will walk out the door because you're not putting in the work as she's doing. And if she's frustrated and she has given out the grace so much and you're still not putting in the work, what will be is that relationship will end. And if you both are putting in the work in the relationship and the marriage, what will be is that it will blossom. So don't be thinking that what will be is that you are putting bad character and expect what will be to be something good. No. It is the work that you put in that will be. So what will be is for good and also for bad. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, and you pretty much balanced the whole video that I put out, that it's in the context of two sane people who are willing to do the work. I'm just questioning the ease at which we walk out the door when we feel a bit of discomfort and how we think that God is confirming in that moment that this person is not for you because you're uncomfortable at that moment. It's not God, it's you.
You're taking my question from me.
Yes.
Sorry, everything that you are going through in that moment that is saying that. And because, let me ask you a question, which is easier to do based on what you've seen? Is it easier to stay or easier to live for people right now?
You know the funny thing, I think it's easier to stay.
No.
And I have a different perspective.
I have
about
the
that.
facts with my clients.
So it's fact and perspective, but I feel like perspective just help balance. Because I feel like social media has just carved society to become something else, right? And for me, it's just I roll my eyes half the time. I don't even thank God I don't follow. I recently started following you, but I don't follow relationship coach. Like I scroll up fast, right? I really scroll up.
I brought it
fast
to our attention, don't worry.
Because like we're chiming out the same things. Like people just dish out the same things, right? And half the time, people listen to people who are not even like someone's 1 year into a relationship and the person is telling you to leave when something happens. Once he raises his voice at you, tomorrow he might be able to hit you, just leave. But then we don't take
like
into
that.
context that the woman might have actually just done one rubbish. So it's like, and then we have this thing where, I'm so sorry, Nigerian, I like to say Nigerian feminists, because it's not what it is. Just come in and then they have their systems that they want to put in place before a relationship can work, or before they can be sure that this guy is the person, right? And then we now have a society that don't give men chances. I mean, this is why I didn't want to have this podcast in the first place.
It's called Unbothered.
Right?
We are not bothered, don't worry.
But then now we have a society that don't give men chances.
Yes.
I was speaking to, where's he? Oh, he's here. Hi. Yes, you. So we had a conversation the other day, and then we were talking about how people don't understand that relationship is serving. It's like it's servitude. It's becoming a servant of the next person. Right. And it is becoming a servant to make sure that the other person blossoms, right? And for Christians, I feel like we read the Bible, but we don't understand it. That's why I feel like people, like when you said no, and I say people know, but I don't think they know because they don't apply what they think they know. You understand? It's only nice when it has a positive end. But then we also read that life is not it's not a bed of roses. We say things like our Father, He will lead me through the darkest times. But we don't want darkest times. We want everything to be good, even with our friendship and our relationships, right? So I feel like we live in a society that don't give people chances. We live in a society where the values, like you said, they are on the surface, and people don't think about. I personally feel like if you have a conversation with somebody on the first day, you can tell what is not being said. But that's if you are self-aware enough to know what is being said and what is not being said. You can tell where a person is coming from, a family that the person is coming from, just by interaction. The first few weeks, if you can't tell by interaction, that's why I say then you don't know. You just have information. You just want a relationship that is sweet on paper. But it's like also we spoke last time when we talked about people that have their vows, and then when you say for richer, for poorer, and they're like for richer, for richer. In my mind, I'm like, that's
what you say.
Because there's actually for richer, for poorer. Even Dangote was not a billionaire for all the days of his life. Like, imagine his wife had left him because he was for richer, for richer.
Read the Taylor last book.
Right? So we it's like we see these things, but I think pain has made us just want to turn over to the good side. We only want the good things. And a lot of us have just not dealt with family trauma. We have childhood traumas. Some people have rape. Some people have families where the father and the mother just kept fighting every day of their lives. They don't want that. Some people have parents who yelled at them, who told them they were never good. Some people had parents who were not available. Some people had so many things, right? And that's the first thing to deal with before you even start to deal with your relationship problems. Because for let me say, for example, for women are groomed to want to seek for husbands as they, mature. And you're literally, like, I think the other day I was speaking to my auntie, and she had said something. She had said that when she got married, certain things happen. Her husband's cousin. Imagine when you get married to your husband's cousin. Your husband's cousin is like 11 years. But you still need to carry his plate and wash it. You have to wash the plate for an 11-year-old boy. And I was like, that's on my... I don't know if I want to say on my deathbed. That's not going to happen. You will stand up, you carry a plate to the kitchen. And then I was like, it needs to change. And she was like, why does it need to change? It didn't change in my time, so why should it change in your time? I'm so sorry, but we have mothers that are like that. We have fathers that are like that. And we have people who have been groomed like that. And they don't even know how to come out of stuff like that. So people have these things where they just want the positives and they have pain. And so it's like the values that you're talking about, right? And it's just really on the surface. But let me come to now. Where is patience now? Where is tolerance? Where are the fruits that we are being asked to seek? Because I feel like the fruits of the Spirit should define values. But where do you feel that is right now when it comes to relationship and friendships in society?
So, I think you answered your own question. I think you did. But the reality is that in our generation, again, I'm not Gen Z, by the way, but in this generation, it's very redundant. People don't feel the need to be patient. If you exercise patience, people feel like they're being taken for granted. But the reality is that, and of course, you will allow me to speak because I'm a Christian. And when it comes to relationships and all kind of relationships for that matter, there is a blueprint by which I run my life. It's not social media. It is the Bible. That's how I run my life. You can give me 10 signs that he's a red flag. If I see patience, kindness, long suffering, he's not a red flag.
At all.
You know what I'm trying to say? But the problem is that we are taking our value system from social media. That's where our value system comes from. The principles that you say are principles. If you can sit down by yourself and ask yourself, where did I get this principle? For example, what she said right now about the auntie who was washing the plates for an 11-year-old, that's because of the principle that she would want to exercise. Right now, in our own generation, like she said, over my dead body, in fact, you should be washing my plate. You're 11. You know what I'm trying to say? But it comes from the value system again. Everything stems down to values, and everything stems down to the knowledge that you are exercising. Where did you get it from? The root of how you have decided to live. Where did you get that from? Patience is not anything that exists right now. In South Africa, the brand ambassador for women is Lori Harvey. That's their brand ambassador. Like, they salute her because you don't know Lori Harvey? You know her, right?
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey's
Larry
daughter.
Harvey.
I'm so sorry. I know we are live, but she's the brand ambassador because she
She's
was one
South
of those
African,
where
by the
she was
way.
like, I'm not going to take it. And she'd just be sliding through our brothers. Like, it doesn't matter. But for you to know that deep down, I don't know if you guys followed it, but for you to understand that there was a problem there was she had been dating a number of men. Then Michael B. Jordan wanted to marry her. He wanted to marry her. And whatever it is that she was internalizing did not allow her to say yes. The man did not treat her badly. So it gets you to understand that it is not an external factor like he said. It is, I'm sorry, I keep on saying he because I'm very bad with names. My co-panelists, right? It is not an external factor. It's an internal factor. Many people feel like a relationship that comes with suffering is not a relationship worth staying for. That makes absolutely no sense. I agree with my brother down at the bottom. Now in our generation, it's easier to leave than it is to stay. People would much rather leave and try and make it work elsewhere. I watched a movie many years ago called Why Did I Get Married? How many of you have watched that movie? And then there was something that Janet Jackson said about the 80-20 rule. Do you guys remember? She said that you will get into a relationship with her, and you got into the relationship because 80% of what you needed, you saw it from her. But the minute 20% walks by, because you don't have that 20%,
Because shiny.
leave 80% for the 20%.
And it's shiny.
You leave it because this is what you don't have. And the problem that we have in our generation with the patience that does not exist is, unfortunately, we are people that want instant gratification. You want it to work now. You want it to make sense now. He must have this money now. And that's not what it is. The Bible says, write the vision down, make it plain. Why? So that he that reads it may do what? Run with it. So if you write it down and you make it plain and I can see it, then I, who have read it, will run with it. I'm not saying that just be taking anybody. If there is no vision, my sisters, run away. That's a fact. If there is no vision, it is not your responsibility to write a vision for anybody. But I should be able to read it. I should be able to comprehend it. And I should be able to take it and make it my own. And once I have taken it and internalized it, I should have the staying power to see that the thing comes into manifestation. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that a woman is a helper. But a mentor of mine once told me that what we don't understand as people is that in as much as a woman is called a helpmate, because in the Bible only two entities are called helpers. It is the Holy Spirit and it is a woman. Meaning the power that I have to make you succeed, you yourself don't even know it.
No.
You don't know it. Michelle Obama, this one time, they sat her down and they interviewed her, and she was driving with Barack. And when she was driving with Barack Obama, they got to a filling station, and Barack saw her ex, Michelle Obama's ex-boyfriend at the time, right? And the guy was filling petrol at the filling station. And Michelle Obama was the one that was telling the story. And she said, when we were sitting in the filling station, Barack said, see what you would have married if you did not marry me. You know what she said?
She's changed it.
She said, no. If I married him, he would have been president, not you.
A woman who knows her worth.
Do you understand? And that's
Kind of
just,
thing that used to switch you people.
do you understand? And that is just our problem. There is a reason, ladies. I'm so sorry, I'm speaking to ladies today. There is a reason why the serpents went to Eve and not to Adam. There's a reason. And it is not because
That's why
we are...
we're here today.
There is a reason. And the reason is not because we are insignificant. The reason is because out of us can come many Adams. The power to make a man, I have it. So which means whenever a prospect comes to me, I also need to make the time to analyze this person and decide, is he worth staying for? And then if he's worth staying for, I know what it is that I carry. I will help you become who you need to become.
Mandala.
But I will not waste my time. I will not waste my time because it is energy. Huh? The woman with the issue of blood touched him and Jesus said, I felt what? Power and virtue left me. My power and my virtue cannot leave me for somebody who is not worth my power and my virtue. So staying power is something that we need to learn to exercise. You need to learn to exercise it because you will let go of many potentials because you felt like I am all that and a bag of chips. And you weren't. Because your true potential as a king maker. I know you are a king maker because I've seen you make kings. Do you understand? In order for me to label you someone that is worth it, I need to see you do it like he said. The thief has got the experience. So if we live in a society where people cannot endure long suffering, because that's what the Bible says. The Bible says love suffers long. You don't determine how long you suffer in love.
Did you hear that one?
You know what I'm trying to say? I'm so sorry, I'm preaching it out. I may not be answering it in a, kind of thing. You don't determine how long you suffer. You're not the one that decides when it gets good. But you have made a commitment and a vow to say, no matter how long, I will wait. And like he said, if I see that it is possible, both of us are putting in the work. That what will be, will be. Me, I don't believe in what will be. No, I don't believe in that. Apostle Joshua Salman once said something. He said that some of you guys are still praying prayers like, Lord, if you give me $1 million, I'll do this. He said, God does not need to give it to you. He knows what you will do.
That's what you do.
He knows. So I don't do a what will be. If I'm not seeing it now, I don't need to wait for what will be. I see what will be now. I don't give
The work you're
myself...
not putting in, we show.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, you
So we
have.
can move on. I want to draw a psychological perspective to that. Yeah. So I want to teach this principle. I always teach people that a lot of times what we are fighting about, especially for those in relationship and those who are married right now, what we are fighting about is not what we are fighting for. Yeah. What we are fighting about, they are the surface conversations. Yeah. It does this, she does this, and all that. A lot of times, I always group it into power, values, control. You see, this control thing, it's a big deal. The way you step out of yourself. Now, let's do this exercise together. Yeah. I want as many people that can. Please hold out a fist like this. Tightly. Hold it so tightly. If you punch your neighbor, the person. Yes. So, this is the perspective we usually hold based on what we know, who we have become, and all that. Yeah, control. This is who we are. Yeah, but this is also a defensive position. Now, what I always teach my clients is that you tie a narrative. So, if you're holding it so tightly, you see that this place is strained. You hold it tightly enough, you start to hurt here. Yeah, this is what we do to ourselves. So, there are two people holding on like this, the man and the woman. This is who we are. Yeah, based on what the society has shaped us to be and all that. We tie a narrative around these 4 fingers and say that, for instance, this person you're dealing with, based on the issue we are having, I say she's human. Yeah? I let go of one. Yeah. This person is also loved by God. I let go of the second one. What you notice eventually is that by letting go, the strain here reduces. Yeah, so a lot of times when you cast grace on the other person, you see yourself in that mirror. A lot of times.
Grace again.
You
I
will
said.
always see yourself. And
So I want to ask you a question, sorry. This grace we keep on talking about, at what point are we supposed to usher in
I
this
was
grace?
coming to this question. You have asked it.
When do we now allow this grace to overlap the person? And I mean, I think I came in earlier, and I don't know when the term now was being given of award grace. So my question is, the grace that is being awarded, at what point is this grace being awarded?
So, like I said at the start, that I'm on the side of healing relationships. Yeah, and this is because this is the instruction I have from God. Yeah, what we sell in my industry is being the bad guy. Yeah, but I see what this lack of awareness of the other person. We know ourselves so much, well, we pretend to know ourselves, and that takes away the focus of seeing the other person for who they truly are. Yeah, and I gave the analogy of 2 people holding a box. Yeah, and because of where you're coming from, who you are at the moment, we are both holding boxes, but we have to go through this door. Yeah, somebody goes ahead to open the door, and the whole idea of holding the door for the other person is recognizing that this person was holding boxes in their hands. Yeah. So that's where the whole conversation of grace is coming from. And it's tilted towards healing. I said it from the start that I always say it on my social media that if you want to leave your relationship or marriage, don't come to me. That's not me. Yeah, I know what my mandate is. And I know that if somebody says something about friendship and the person used the word irreparable, yeah, and I was going to really interrogate that what do we even mean by something is not repairable? There's sort of context, sort of dynamics and nuances to all of these things that we throw around. And that's where I'm coming from. Yeah. Again, the context of two same people that are willing to do the work. Like I said, if you both give up on the same day, then there's something is wrong with that. That's why I was questioning your choice.
Yes.
That we also have to take responsibility for, I chose this person. Whatever made you choose this person, take responsibility for that. One of my mentors will say that if it takes you more than 15 minutes to spot a fool, you're a fool yourself. Yeah, so be aware enough to say, I made this choice. And that comes with responsibility. I use the quality of the word MY in my sessions. The quality, my. You have a phone, that's my phone. You bear sense of responsibility to it. You have to charge it. You have to do that. But when it comes to my friend, my sibling, my boyfriend, then you have to understand that it comes with a lot of responsibility too.
becomes
That's
selfish.
where I see the deficiency in what we are operating in today, that we've lost that idea of mine. Yes, responsibility to this person. And you have to expend that. So I like what you said about trying to remember the long suffering that you don't get to decide. That's so powerful. That's so beyond what you are choosing in the moment. Something you said in the video to the last one I watched, that count the cost.
The cost before you...
Yes, count the cost. Look at this person and say, the status of what I'm saying right now, based on what she's saying and all that, I agree, I accept. It makes sense. But there's a lot of back end to where this person is coming from. The person who has learnt malice was probably kept short as a child. The person who has learned to be vocal also was kept short as a child and said, you know what, when I get my freedom, I'm going to say everything so that the world can hear. Yeah, so you can't discard them like that because you think that somewhere in your journey, somebody told you on a podcast that if a woman shouts at you, you've lost your manhood. Something is wrong.
Problem. So I want to touch on this question you asked about the grace. I think it can be in two ways. I am a very, very big supporter of what the Bible says about divorce in marriages. And I'm
Sorry,
learning.
can you state that?
Yes.
What did the Bible say about
So-
divorce? No, you carry yourself, come outside, no breathing.
I don't know how to oversee it. He hates
Oversee.
it.
You haven't even said it yet. What
Yes.
oversee it? Okay.
I don't used to quote Bible verse. I just like to read and understand. Leave the verse alone. So, and there's also the conversation of when you're not dating, when you're not married, to also give grace. So, in the context of marriage, some people have asked, I've seen questions like that. My husband is not doing certain things that he's supposed to be doing. I've been giving grace. A lot of times it's in a short while. Maybe their grace threshold is short. And people now want to opt out and leave in our modern day setting. In a relationship, I can, like Zora said at the very beginning, I think the world constructed the thing of relationship, which we now enjoy it today and throw it all around. There's that side where you're giving grace and the person is not. The bad character is just continuing. And you must know when you need to pull off. It's not yet a marriage. I am very, very particular about that. And you know you have given everything that you know you need to give. You know, there are certain times where I know there are, like you said, people are coming from places. If the person owns up and say, I have been through certain things and I have journeyed, and that's what has made me who I am. But I am not saying that I have to be this person. Can you help me? As I need your help also to be able to walk through this phase, and you are genuinely able to walk through it with the person. Very valid. That is where you don't now judge the person based on, you're an adult. You should be able to breaking the person and pushing the person further away. But there is that other person, female or male, who don't even want to agree that there's somewhere they are coming from. And you have seen it and probed and seen that, there are cracks here. and the person is not owning up to it that, oh, I'm perfect, this is who I am. In a relationship, that's where you move, because this person, you're never going to do the work for the person if they don't want to do it. So I think if you want to move, it's very valid for you to just let go. It will pain you. Heartbreak will come into it. So prepare for that one. But the context of marriage, I believe, is very, very dicey. I have like two mentors who, when one of them spoke to this, and he said, in that time, as a Christian, are you doing it with, I can do it, I can help you? Yes, the person is your spouse, you're married. Or are you doing it with, God, how can you show up for me so this person can begin to see the work that they need to do? Because why? You had the time to understand this person before the marriage and you got in there. And sometimes some of those cracks don't show up early on. Maybe circumstances begin to happen in life and the person begins to fall into those cracks, and all the things that the baggage has happened now start to get exposed because of the work they did not do and they avoided. It is in that point where you will know whether do you know how to give grace as a person, be your husband, be your wife, because it can be very hard. So what I want to know is, what I want to ask for people who maybe when they get into that, but people who are, there's an audience, there's a guest on online that asked me that question. I did not know how to break it down properly. And I think she was asking for a friend. So inside a marriage, and this is the dynamics, the person has got to a point where they are almost giving up. And they have prayed to God, they have given the grace, and it's as if they are hanging in there with their last strength.
So before so the whole idea of giving grace might seem like you're doing the other person a favor. Let me explain that. Grace in itself is seeing who you truly are based on what is happening in that moment from that person. And let me explain that. I always say that you don't even know yourself enough until you enter a serious relationship. The level of intentionality will reveal you to you. So a lot of times there are two victims in the marriage. The one that is finding out himself that, I can yellow. I didn't know. You know what your life, you are prim and proper. You went through life like that and you didn't know you could keep malice.
Yes,
and then something happens in 3 days, you are still going strong like dry fasting. You know, you are still as strong. And then you find out that, I can be like this. So when I say you hold grace for the other person, first off, question what you judge. And let me explain that. Somebody stopped me in one of the places I went to, a guy, and said that, newly married, yeah. And he had all of these things to say about the contribution of the woman in the home. Yeah. I go out, I do this, I do that. Then sometimes I have to wait when I get back home and she's still just preparing the meal when I get home. So he had all these valid points. And he was even expressing it well with all the right colloquialism and all that. Yeah. So I listened through and then said to him that, okay, so are there other things that she, aside from this food that is so important to you? Is there something else yes, I mean, she does this and that. For instance, she calls my mom, and so tiny little things, big things. But again, because what his focus is the lacking 20%, like you rightly said, then that's what he's been focused. And then we sat down together and I said, let's look for this thing together. I said that the whole idea of women cooking and being submissive traditionally to women, let's trace it, to men rather, let's trace it. And then we went online and then found out that it was because we went through the colonial era, the way men were here, and that became a model of operation for us in Africa. And then he saw that, and then that kind of changed his perspective. But again, judging...
No, you need to say this out loud, please. You said that... Actually, please, I'm here for my sisters. You need to say that again.
This, do your research. This model that we've held on to for the longest time...
Man, please hold the shield. They are coming for you.
Women must cook and do this and do that. It's coming from the colonial era. Yeah. It's coming from oppression, from suffering. But we turned it into a doctrine and became a model of family operation for some weird reasons. And then it was until he saw that...
Hold on, I'm coming.
Yes, okay, so the model then was... So let me men should be interested right now. So let me tell you what happened in those days. We had leaders, authorities. He has said that, do this and do that. Subjected the men to famine because of strength and know that this is what you should do. They would let the women be at home. But again, what played out was that we were being enslaved. Yeah, so because of the effectiveness of work that the colonial masters were looking for, they said the men should do this. Women should do this. Now, if you take that out of what happened in that situation, you will say that it becomes a model of women must cook, men must farm. That's where it's coming from. So the adjunct of strength, hold on, was coming from the scenario that played out in that moment. People came and said that, okay, because of what we want to achieve, yeah, let the men do this. Let the women do this. Now, as interesting as that is, it became a model for us to follow. In this day and time, if we insist on running a family like that, then you shoot yourself in the leg. Yeah, because you want to then recognize that what other things, we have situations where men are now the one cooking, but this person is fixated on the woman must cook. I want to get back home and the food is ready. It's coming from somewhere. He learned that from somewhere. He probably saw it in his family. His dad saw it. Then somebody saw it. Because when the men went to the farm, of course, the women were cooking at home. You can't run. If you judge everything that you currently question, you will find yourself, even when you find the meaning of that thing. Like, okay, why am I so fixated on this person cooking before I get home? Yeah, let's go through this thing together. You will see your own flaw in holding grace for the other person. That's what I'm saying. Question everything. And I always draw people back to the power of two people. Two people, not the society. Two people. Me and this person. Sitting down to say that this is what is going to work. I can cook. If you trust me with cooking in this life, you are done for. But you see me, I can wash plates for life.
Sign me up.
I can wash plates. So
I will wash any plates in the kitchen.
No, I'm being honest.
Sign me up.
There is no, and you know why? You see, back to what I'm saying. To now say that one of my super quality is that I can wash plates, you are shooting yourself in the leg. You know what happened? I was a waiter at a point. And because I wasn't tall, they put me at the back. So when other people were serving, they will come with people have seen plates in your life. You will see plates as tall as you are. And I have to sit there within 2 hours to wash. That's where the strength is coming from. That ministry is from pain. But yeah, that's who I am right now. I can handle
My
that.
mom ran a restaurant, so I used to wash plates
sorry,
a lot. So I love to wash plates.
Some people sitting down to say that based on our life, based on everything I've gone through, this is where I can help, this is what I can do. And drawing a balance like that, away from what the society would define as. I used to have a friend, Dayo. One time I went to Dayo's house, and he was washing clothes. He was washing clothes. You know, man, sit down outside and he was washing clothes. And I went inside. The wife was inside. She was sitting. So you see the African man in me jumped out because of the model that I've learned. That, for sure, kind of thing, like a man is washing clothes. And then I asked him that, what's going on? Yeah, he said that she does it and this. But he said something I can't forget. He said, that's the balance we've drawn in this home. That's the balance. Two people. If you look at that situation from outside, you will question, but it's working for them. To now look at them and say, this is wrong marriage. It's your own dysfunction that is at play. Yeah, exactly. We judge things based on our own dysfunction a lot of times. That I've experienced it, that you see it from outside. Then it's through the prism of what your own experience has been. Yeah, so sit down enough. When I say old grace, it comes from questioning your own self. That you know what Jesus did in dealing with that situation. Say that he who is without, first off, that realization that turning the attention away from the person you're supposed to stone into yourself. That if my own sin make it to the public, it's not stone they will use for me. It's bomb. They will load me with bomb. To understand that. So I was just trying to balance the whole idea of grace because it now looks like you are spending a lot of favor. You say, no. I'm the understanding one now. People are not seeing this, so no. There's already a problem with that. So judge what you question first. Find your own in the mix of everything that you're even pointing a finger to. Because a lot of times you've broken up so much that we break up with people, not patterns. There are things that you brought these things to the relationship yourself. So be fair enough to know that we're going to K-leg. Be fair enough to know that you also have K-leg. That's what I said in Yoruba.
I like this thing that you just said because it's taking me to. So we're getting into heartbreaks, and I just want us to get there proper so that we can end heartbreaks. So a lot of people are saying things concerning heartbreaks.
Yeah. So there are some questions I want to ask.
No, for your questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You had just said something that people break up with people. Oh, you want to say something now? No. No, I'm not asking you. I'm saying something. I'm rephrasing what you said. You said that people break up with people, but not patterns. So that, if I understand that, it means that you can break up. So I made a video once where I was like, people don't know how to see the patterns in their lives. How many people know that loss is a pattern?
Yep.
Loss is a pattern.
Yep.
The way you spend is a pattern. Sometimes goes with your family. There are a lot of things in our lives that are patterns.
The way you enter relationships and come out can be a pattern.
That we don't know that they are patterns, right? So there are a lot of patterns that we have grown up with as people. And that lack of self-awareness that does not let us see the patterns that are very much in our lives, just let us continue choosing the same patterns but with different people, different faces, right? So, right? And so
Sheesh me.
I'm going to talk about I want us to speak to how to draw boundaries that help us step away from those. And so when you come out of a relationship, a heartbreak, right, and you're trying to break away from the patterns of the type of people that you choose, what is the best way you can advise people to draw boundaries?
And before you go, there's one question about boundaries. I want to mix it in so that
Right,
we
sir.
can, because of time. So the person also asks, in a relationship, where should we draw the line between setting healthy boundaries and building walls that block love after heartbreak?
Let's put this question to the side because that's a different one. But I think for me, rather, what has worked for me, before you can draw a boundary, like she said, the pattern needs to be identified. And the pattern you are identifying is not their pattern, it is your pattern, right? So the grace that they talked about is also a grace that needs to be extended to yourself, right? I have a problem, and God has been helping me because I feel like it is both a strength and a weakness. And the problem with me is that I am very calculated. Like, I'm that kind of person. The bad side of this, my calculation, is that if you piss me off, I will not respond. I will calculate it first, such that by the time I respond to you, I kill you. That's me. Like, that's me. And God has been helping me with it. But I know that it is also a strength because I know that if something transpires between myself and you, I will calculate it and I will play it over and over and over and over and over. And the more I play it over, the more I identify where I went wrong. I am one of those people where I don't say sorry because I want to appease you. I say sorry because I have sat down and I have played the scenario over. And there's that sorry because you just want peace to reign, but you don't mean it. You can say that because you want things to make sense, but the genuine sorry is a sorry that you know that I'm saying it because I have really identified my own mistake. So before you can set a boundary, you also need to understand what is your problem. Setting a boundary of the kind of men that you should not allow into your space because you are still growing. The thing that she said about lust, if you know that lust is your problem, and a guy says, I really like you. Okay, let's go to dinner. And then you go to dinner. Then tomorrow he says, let's go to my house. I'm dealing with lust. I'm going to your house. And that is a boundary that I have put there for myself to say, I am intentionally wanting to work on these things, right? Boundaries are not supposed to be set by people outside. They are supposed to be set by yourself. You set the boundaries. They don't set them for you. And you need to be real with yourself. Boundaries also come with discipline, guys. If you're not a disciplined person, you will never honor your boundaries.
Yeah.
You will never honor them. And the only way that you can honor your boundaries is by honoring yourself. If I tell myself tomorrow, I will not do this, if I don't honor myself and I've not created the kind of discipline for me to not do that, I will still compromise. So if you've got the ability to compromise, then don't even set boundaries for yourself because you will not honor the boundary. But you need to identify, not everything. Let me be honest with you, guys. I am very blonde when it comes to therapy. Me as a blonde that I am. It's funny. I'll say it, it's funny, and no offense to anybody. One of the reasons why me, and it's just my analogy. I know that it is bad because I know people around me that go to therapy. One of the reasons why me, I cannot go to therapy is because I fail to understand how my therapist also needs a therapist in order to counsel me. For me, that analogy makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense for me because it means even you are going through something. So we are creating a ripple effect of people with problems. That's just me. But I know that to offload makes sense. But it is not sometimes talking and not applying. You know that thing that says, my people perish because of what?
Lack of knowledge.
But just because you have read something doesn't mean you know it. Right? Knowledge is power, yes. But it is not that powerful if you don't apply it. It becomes powerful once you have applied it. So knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Once you know something and you begin to walk in it, that is when you have actually acquired true power. So boundaries need to be set. But the reality that we live in a generation now where everybody's a journaler now. Back in the day, we did not do those things. Everybody wakes up and they journal. Everybody is a journaler. And I want to believe that this thing is a coping mechanism that we have introduced to society because people are going through so much. But I would put it on you when you are journaling, be honest with yourself. Because many people don't even set boundaries because they don't know how to be honest with themselves. Are you the toxic person? Are you the one with the problem? Yes, I'm the one with the problem. How do I deal with it? And you begin to really set boundaries based on the fact that you are dealing with the things that are a problem to you, but also to the next person. So boundaries are very important, but you need to identify what your problem is before you draw them. I don't know if I've answered your question.
You have. Do you want to answer the next one? The one
Okay,
that
please read it again.
The question was,
There's something I want to say. It's in my spirit. Let me just say it. There's something that Chike just said earlier on that Bros was answering with regards to the grace and the divorce. Guys, it's in my spirits, and I think it's a day it's a conversation for another day. You know, the Bible says something about divorce, right? And as a Christian, you would never promote anybody to divorce. But I need us to understand what the Bible means when the Bible says God hates it. He hates it. Not that it is not allowed. He hates it. So there are certain situations in your life where sometimes it is just not possible. You want to stay. The Bible speaks of Gomer and Hosea. And the Bible gives us an analogy of how much grace was afforded to Gomer. As in, God intentionally took Hosea and made Hosea marry a prostitute because he wanted to teach us something about how he loved us, the church. He wanted to teach us about how he loved us, the church. But that analogy does not always work in relationships. He hates divorce. But you can't look at someone and say, because it did not work, there is a problem with them and God hates them. No, he hates the act of you divorcing because of what marriage, the constitution of marriage means to kingdom, right? So that person that gets to a point where they're like, I have come to the end of myself, it is between them and God to decide whether do I stay in this thing or I don't stay. But that analogy that we have given to people to say, because you are a child of God, it's not working. You are perishing. You are dying. You are losing yourself. And you are like, I cannot do anything. I cannot speak to... No.
Thank you for this answer.
No.
I think that if I even want to add here, remember that in the Bible, God did not tell Hosea who to pick. He asked him to pick a prostitute. So if he had calmed down to probably pick someone that was about to repent, he would not have had to go through all of those. But he picked who he picked, which goes back to responsibility with your choices, which people don't now have endurance for, because you pick the shiny thing and then the shiny thing begins to give you problems.
And the heartbreak comes.
Then now you cannot handle it again. But it was shiny. It was fine in your eyes, right? And then you just wanted to be there. It's like when women want to have a 6 foot tall black chocolate man, it's because he's shiny. But then when he comes into and he starts to beat you, then he's the bad person. Or when he even yells, he might not even beat you. That's like the bad one.
You don't see the shine.
Once he just yells, or all of a sudden his potential is not potentialing, then you cannot be there because maybe your other friend married someone who is closer to Dangote, and then now you need to elevate. I think that's another conversation. This elevating that women do these days, where we necessarily need to elevate from men into other phases. But that's another conversation for another day. But of course, we say it's not because of them.
They will fight you.
Ask that question. What was that question?
Yeah, that question is, in a relationship, where should we draw the line between setting healthy boundaries and building walls that block love after the heartbreak?
So, I don't think I'm the best person to answer because they told me I was very strategic. And my response to that was, emotions did not get me anywhere, right? When you go through a heartbreak, you need to be real with yourself, especially because you don't want that repetitive cycle, right? You need to identify, there's what we call in business terms a SWOT analysis. You need to identify certain markers, do a SWOT analysis of when the relationship, of what happened in the relationship, why the relationship ended. Because the reality is that, I'm going to say something that many women don't want to hear right now, is that not unless you are dating a man that is like a serious serial cheater and has got other kind of problems. If you are honest with yourself, you need to get to a point in time where even if the relationship ended because the guy cheated, you need to sit with yourself and try to understand why. I'm not saying go back to the relationship, but dissect it as much as you can and learn the lessons from it. You may not have been wrong, but you need to sit down with the scenarios that took place in the relationship and dissect it, like squeeze that thing and look for as many lessons as you can get in that thing. Did he cheat because, I cannot say it because there are certain things I don't do, right?
Like you don't have words.
Yeah, because I don't see. I'm trying to be very careful because I would never give advice or speak about something that I know myself I do not do. I for one, I don't engage in sexual activity. I told myself I'll wait. I'm not I'm not a virgin. Before you guys be like, it's a lie, right? And I'm being vulnerable and honest with you guys about that. But I made a conscious decision that I will wait for my husband. So even in a relationship, nobody, even if he cheats on me, I know he cheated on me because I know give him. So if that's the reason, then that makes absolute sense. But you then need to understand, like what he had said was, he did that because we did not have the necessary conversations. If bro knew that he could not wait, he had no reason being in the relationship with me in the first place, right? But when relationships end, the reasons to why they ended, you need to identify the lessons behind it. Forget about the act. Just do it, dissect it for yourself, not for them, for yourself, such that you can identify what to avoid in the future. And then from there, allow yourself to go through the motions. Allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. Allow it. Learn the lessons, be more mature about it. And then when you go into your next relationship, don't build a wall. Just be wise about it. Ask the questions that you need to ask. Don't make the mistake of now. If you made the mistake now before, you're like, oh, in 3 days, because I know that some of us here may not carry the same disposition that I have. If you gave it up after 1 week and began to misbehave, in the next one, don't give it up after 1 week. That's just a very small little analogy. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's a very minute and minuscule example. But you need to allow yourself to feel what needs to be felt. You need to identify the lessons. You don't need to be taught them. Allow yourself to be taught by the experiences. The Bible says Jesus learned obedience by what? Through the things that he suffered. He learned obedience because he suffered those things. So allow yourself to go through the motions, allow yourself to take in the lessons, and then when you go into your next relationship, the mistakes that you made, make sure that you bring up conversations based on the mistakes that you made and in the choice that you made, such that it is not a repetitive thing. Because like she said, this thing that we have every now and again about I have a type. Sometimes your type
It's just you.
is your
It's
type.
your type.
The thing that type did to you is the same thing this your type will do to you.
Is the
You know what I'm trying to say?
pattern.
So don't build walls. I say this because I went through a catastrophic heartbreak. It took me years to recover from that thing. But in the years that I was recovering from it, regularly, I played the scenario back in my head. I wrote about it. I identified my mistakes. In the long and short of it, he was wrong. But because I know that he was wrong, I sat with that thing long enough to also understand that I was wrong. And I sat long enough to understand that he was wrong because I did this. He was wrong, or what made him wrong was not necessarily because he was a wrong person, but it was because I did this. What could I have done to make sure that this and this and this did not happen? And then I take those lessons. Identifying those things doesn't mean I have to go back to the person. It doesn't mean I have to go back to the
taking
person.
responsibility of your own.
I just take responsibility of my weaknesses. I take responsibility of my flaws. I also identify what it is that I want, such that when I go into the next relationship, because the problem that we have in our generation as well, like bro said, is that we don't want to ask questions. Just because he gives me butterflies and it makes me feel good, he took me to eat.
Butterflies in the
He
bellies.
paid 200K without a second thought. It means he can provide.
Butterflies would die.
He did this because it means he can do this. It means he can do that. You know, you can marry a man that can look after the home but cannot look after you.
Yeah.
And these are
Word.
questions, these are conversations that you need to have. Ask these questions. Don't raise walls. Raise your standard and raise your ability to be patient and wait. Time is a revealer of all things. Give things time.
One of the things I want to add to this is that with what you said now, I'm seeing people that want a wife, but they don't want to be husbands or fathers, but they want children. And I'm seeing also women who want husbands, but they don't want to be wives or mothers, but they want children. So one of the things I know can begin to help people, run away from the issues of breakups and betrayal is you, first of all, are you ready to be a wife or a mother? And you, as the guy, are you ready to be a father and a husband? I feel if these dynamics begin to take their place in people's heart, many of the things we do that cause breakups and betrayals will begin to now help us now set the right boundaries between ourselves and the people that we get in contact with to do life with or even try to initiate a relationship with. There's something I want to read out to us, and it was from a 6 years video I watched, and it's somebody who is very like an elder, and he said something. Even my pastor said it today again, and I have always probed it, and it speaks to friendships. We do not do friendships properly sometimes, especially when we're even getting into marriages. We're not seeing ourselves as friends. And I tell people, friendship is not easy. It is not, oh, I love you, talk your own every time. It is going through the cracks and all of that. And he said something. He said, there's friendships and there's romance. And that is the two pillars that we build a marriage. Friendship and romance. Friendship in the sense that you have duties and responsibilities, and when you go through them together as friends, it becomes easy. It's not that, oh, it's your job as the man to do this, it's your job as the woman to do this. You are going through it together as friends. Then romance, as husband and wife, you are supposed to give yourselves sensually and sexually. So if two people coming together to do life can get friendship and understand romance together as they are getting into doing life together, they will be able to go through anything that wants to cause a crack for them. They will be able to talk. They will be able to do life well. And I'm not telling you that the struggle will not still come. It will come. But when you have the understanding as friends, and you can still remain romantically involved with yourselves, talk about it. Play with yourselves. You will see that life will be very good with you.
Thank you, Chike. At this point, we'll give you coach.
I know we
to
coach,
take you
Alec.
to a relationship school.
I know we coach.
But guys, we're about to wrap up. But like, I don't know if anyone has a question or contribution from the crowd. It's like 5 minutes.
So I wanted to ask earlier that when we're speaking about long suffering in relationships and marriages, I wanted to ask specifically for what are the things that we should have long suffering for, so that we're not just having long suffering for what would consider bad behavior and now long suffering may I just day. So what exactly am I supposed to be able to suffer from?
So, you know what? Like what Chike said earlier on, bad behavior is bad behavior, right? Bad behavior is rubbish behavior. And it is not your responsibility to tolerate bad behavior, especially in a relationship setup, right? You cannot behave badly. Like now, for example, if you're in a relationship with someone, for me, and I think this is the mistake that we make as well, is that you also need to make sure that you don't want to apply marriage principles in boyfriend and
In
girlfriend,
relationships.
right? And I think sometimes that's the mistake we make because we've got that mindset that says we are dating to marry. But that phase thing that we spoke about, in the phase where you are my boyfriend, I will treat you and I will respect you and I will love you like my boyfriend. Then once we get to that phase where you are my husband, it will heighten, it will intensify, right? But the long suffering I'm talking about it from we understand what we are doing. I have vetted you because there are certain things that you do not need to tolerate in a relationship. Boyfriend and girlfriend cheating is one of them. Because if she cheats on you while she's dating you, bro, inside that thing, she would do it like a champion. She would cheat on you. So I am not saying that, okay, this person cheated on you and now you need to endure because you want to find yourself married. No. Because like she said, when you look at the biblical context of being in a relationship, God did not want, we're not supposed to be dating the way we are doing. According to scripture, it is called courting. And we court because as we are sitting like this, I'm interviewing you every day to find out if this interview, did you pass it today? Okay, let's go to the next phase. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. That is what courting is I am identifying the markers that make you fit to be my husband. You are identifying the markers that make me fit to be your wife. You understand? So there are certain things that from a relationship standpoint, we should not even be talking about when you are wanting to identify whether this person is good for you. So bad character is bad character. And that does not need long suffering. The long suffering we're talking about is when you have made up your mind and you have vetted this person and you said, I have made a choice. I will die here. You will die there. So that's the long suffering we talk about. But like I said, when we speak about the aspects of divorce and leaving and stuff, there are certain aspects and entities that make it permissible, where it is allowed, which is why the Bible said, in as much as God hates divorce, there's a specific act that if you do, you don't even have to inquire of the Lord, and that is if a man cheats. According to scripture, if you are married and your wife sleeps with another and they desecrate the matrimonial bed, you don't even have to inquire from God. You can walk out of the thing. He gives you the right to do it. But then there are other setups and dynamics where it would be good for you to inquire, get the counsel, go to therapy if you need to go to therapy. And if it is something that you can still stay in, then you stay. But bad behavior is bad behavior. But if you marry the person, it's not that that person for the 1 year was hiding bad behavior. You saw the behavior was bad and you still chose to enter into it. Once you have entered into it, you will suffer in it. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I think it also still now goes back to. Sorry, please. I think it goes back to your value systems because, of course, Inam cannot be telling you what you should value or what you should seek out for in whoever it is you want to date. So you're going to suffer long if you choose rubbish. So you have decided to stay with that rubbish. So then again, it goes to what is the level of self-awareness that you have to help you define your values and the AT that you can use to choose whoever it is that you want to be with, to know that this is what you can suffer long for, right? It also goes back to what I said in the last video about counting the cost. People don't count the cost when they want to get into relation. People feel like relationship is for the good times and it's just easy things to want to go into. But then if you're going to date someone like Chike who's a farmer as a woman, you have to count the cost. What does a farmer require?
And how long do I have to wait before I see the result?
Yeah, and how
harvest?
long would you have to wait? But then that's what Inam said about seeing his vision and seeing that, okay, in that vision, there's a place for you, right? That's also how you know if this man wants just a wife that you can say, they'll call him tomorrow and say, is he married? Say, yes, so I'm married. Oh, my wife, Iyawo Day house. Or if he wants to be a father and a husband to you. So those things are things that you have to sit down and decide for yourself first. Because when you don't see those things in the man or you don't see it in the woman, you know when to stand up and pack your bag and go home peacefully. Hello, sir.
Do you still remember? There's somebody waiting.
Because according to what she said, okay, yeah, bad behavior is bad behavior. And, one thing I noticed is that in relationship, or let me use the word marriage. In marriage, a lot of people are covered with different stuff. When you think, for example, a lot of people are covered with love. That word love, where they instead of they were carried away. Let me hear. They are carried away exactly with love. Instead of them facing the back end of it, what is happening at the back end. Let me give you sorry for this story, just a short, I will summarize it. My sis fall in love with this guy. They got married straight up. From there, after they relocate to Canada, after 5 years, they got their citizenship. So marriage of 7 years, trusted. This guy is not cheating, he's not drinking, very God-fearing, that this is a true husband. But after that week that they got their citizenship, this guy packed out of the house and be like, he's not doing again. Baba, what happened? Did your wife cheat? What happened? The guy did no closure. So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people can pretend to be. People pretend a lot. Like I've seen, even me personally, I've experienced series of before it now takes you to be like what it takes you some water of the spirit and blood of Jesus before you can be like, oh, I can decipher this when I see this, something like this. Because most of us, when we have communication or we are in relationship, we are mostly carried away with maybe it's either love, the money there, the something else there. A lot of us are always in Yoruba it does say gbemi debe, because it's very rare to see the gbemi debe. Yeah, so a lot of people are carried away with that. And when there's one girl that was telling me about a girl that she's uploading all her trip all over the world, business class. Sorry. So the question is that
how can you decipher this? Because this pretense, what I'm talking, a lot of people are going into all these things, but when they now enter, they will now be like, oh.
So I think that I'm just going to answer that you need Jesus. Do you understand? Because when you said that you can decipher, but then people can pretend. When it comes to pretense, just go and look for Jesus. But I also think, like you have said, the first thing you said that just really closed this case was you said people are covered or blinded by the emotions. Because first of all, right, love is not supposed to blind you.
Just very similar. So
Chooks, this is a similar question.
Okay, I just want to give a risk management approach to this. The thing about relationships and friendships is that just for the point of getting into it, you already expose yourself to the potential of hurt. And in fact, the deeper the friendship or the deeper the relationship, the more piercing and hurtful. So I guess my question was around that. Even with all the selection techniques, with the strategicness, with the prayerfulness, there's one basic risk, which is actually the largest risk in the world, is people risk, the person. The fact that you can actually wake up tomorrow and be a different person. So this is not even pretense. This is not even pretend, you were actually good before. But this morning, this is not the person that I married. You get so that risk I know is there, but how exactly do you position yourself to mitigate it? You have to leave some leather part of yourself that has to absorb something sometimes, or because I know that you can't really eliminate that factor. Right. I just wanted to add to that because I think that's a bit similar, but this is not even pretense.
So, it's funny that you asked because this is one of my biggest fears. To be very honest, this is one of my biggest fears, that you can be with a person and you wake up the next day and it's a different person entirely. Like they can decide to just become literal opposites of who you knew. And the thing is, you don't have a decision in that because you might have done your best. You might have been the best person. You might have done everything. And this is why I think for Christians, this is different. Because, and when I say it's different, it's not that God's going to save you from it. God is not saving you from it. Because the truth, one of the things that I've gotten to understand with marriage is two people that become one. If they decide to continue being one. Like every day they have to wake up and decide to continue to be one. Because the day one person lets go and says I don't want to do this again. The other person can just keep trying. But even God looking at you like, when you're ready, my daughter. Right?
I mean, I
don't think that it's because that would be a lot to put on a person. To say that this is how you learn to position. Because this is things like this that brought about, this is how you position yourself for high-value men. And it's how you position yourself for high-value women. Right? Which is actually not a thing. Really. Because you can't equate value of something by positioning or what you do or what you don't do. If a person of value is a person of value. But then do you even know how to see value when it's in before you? Or do you know how to seek the diamond in the rough until when it has been refined? Not a lot of people know how to do that. So it's not a thing that I would say that you should put on yourself. But this is what I would say really for myself is that when you choose someone, the other day, Amaka was asking me a question. I said, love is the most bittersweet thing in life. In the sense that it is the sweetest and it is the most bitter thing you can taste. And it's in one. There's no difference between the both of it. But we had talked about enduring patience to get to a level where everything becomes, comes together and you can enjoy it. But then if it also doesn't come together, one thing I tell people is give yourself, give you to the next person in full. And when it breaks, if you come out, just come out and then heal. Don't look at the other person. I think that when we come out, that's why I don't subscribe to breakups that you come out and you are saying, "No, this person is a bad person. Oh my God, he did this. I'm not that kind of person. Like I literally can come out of a relationship and you're not hearing anything about the next person. Because I had nothing to say. The onus is on me to give myself fully to the next person in kindness, in love, in patience. Everything that I can give is what I will give to you. Now, of course, I decided to make you my choice, and I give that to you. If you wake up tomorrow and I figure that you're a different person, and this is not the person this is not something I can deal with, and I pray to God, I say, I can't do this. I don't know if I have the endurance for this. I know that now, of course, like I say, God hates divorce, right? But He's not saying don't do it, but He hates it. If I do it and I come out, I now can't decide for myself to either stay and not have any other person till the day that I die, or decide to seek love somewhere else. That's what I'm going to say.
Also, just to close with it, because you were asking, how can you decipher? Personally, for me, I mean, I don't know if you're married, but I think friendship is very important in a relationship. Friendship is extremely important. You need to build a friendship with your spouse in such a way that even on their worst day, you are the person that they can open up to. Because a person, honestly, I'll say it for free, a person does not change overnight. The signs would have been there. You just missed them. What will happen is by the time they wake up and they are someone that you completely do not understand, is because when the little crumbs were there, you ignored them. So now you just wake up one day and you say, I woke up next to a monster. No, there was a little monster that was growing by your side. But because you did not build the friendship, when they were going through that, because the reality is that especially if you go to the West now, men go through midlife crises. They get married early. By the time they are 40, they are going through a midlife crisis. And when they are going through that midlife crisis, to be a husband is not their first priority. They are trying to just make life make sense for themselves before they can be of value to you. You know what I'm trying to say? So the only advice that I would advise is that in every relationship that you are in, don't be so thrilled about being someone's wife and run away from being that person's friend. Don't be so excited to look for a husband and forget that you need to look for a friend, such that those things that we say, I married my best friend, is not a cliche. It is actually something that you really did. The Bible says, if the foundation be broken, what can the righteous do? So the foundation by which you are building your relationship and your marriage needs to be a foundation that can stay long. Because the reality that we need to understand is that in the same way that Jesus was tested, because Jesus was tested, and Jesus is the benchmark that we categorize as love, even you, there will be seasons in your life where you have to pass the love test. Your love will constantly be tested, and you would have to pass that test. And the only way that you can pass it and you can stay long in marriage is if you intentionally build friendship with your spouse. Don't be eager to look for a husband. Look for a friend in that person and intentionally build friendship with that person. Because on a day where I don't feel like being your wife, I still feel like being your friend.
Yeah, so you made a very good point. Yeah, and I wanted to say something to that because sometimes everything we've mentioned here, they are the human metrics that we've, ticked off and all that, friendship and all of that. Yeah. As wildly weird as I am, and I tell you not from a place of pride, I've read books, yeah, and I've come to the end of myself. That free yourself from the burden to figure the entire journey out. Yeah. And trust God enough that even in the midst of everything, He will handle you. You see what I'm telling you? I think Victor can attest to it. I read to a point I was bleeding from my nose. I know so much that I don't know anything. Humble enough to say that there's big room for God to fill in this. I can take everything. I can be friends. And what you said, so my oldest client, I think they've been married for 30, 40 years, and they were sharing a story with me about how this person you've known and for the entirety of your life can wake up tomorrow and something just changes with them. You can say you've been friends, and there are some that you will not see coming. I promise you. Something will blind you, or whatever it is, you shall not see it coming. I'm saying that in the midst of that, trust God with your tomorrow. Yeah, trust God long enough to say that no matter how this thing goes, I know that God is waiting for me ahead. Yeah, so.
Even if they break your heart, trust God, yeah?
Hi, everyone. So we're going to take 2 last questions. And sorry, panelists, guests and hosts. Once the first question comes up, one person answers, When the last question comes up, one person answers. So decide amongst yourself who's going to answer. Thank you.
This is sorry. Oh.
Yes, sorry, I have to. This is the first question. Yeah, and then the last one.
Okay, I was going to ask a question before, but I think I want to give a feedback. And the reason why I want to give a feedback is because I want to use my life example. I'm saying this because I feel I'm safe here.
It's a safe space.
Yeah. I got married at age 25 and he died at age 27. And there's a way you think you know what life would unfold, and you have plans. You think you're wise, you think you're smart. But one thing I know is that don't ever do life without God. Don't ever make a life decision without you finding out your identity in God. Because at the end of the day, the reference point of everything is who you are and what the source of that definition is. When we were going to get married, it was all. There was no medical history. There was nothing. 2-3 months after marriage, he slumped and he had stroke. Now, before we got married, we were friends. And I'm not just talking about we being friends like by mouth. This is someone that I talk to. I can say anything to. By the time he was going to propose to me, he told me, Omotola, I have nothing. Now, him telling me he had nothing was not because I didn't know what he owns. But then this was somebody who was telling me, like, this is just me. Can you take me for who I am? And I'm like, it's not a problem for me. Because like you were talking about, I know where I'm going. And I have worked, like we've literally worked together in a business. So I know him as a business person. I know him as an individual. I also know him with regards his transaction with his faith. Now, I want to say a story. I remember when we were dealing with his illness, we went to Ekiti. I was living in Ondo State at that time. We went to Ekiti and I was pushing the wheelchair. As at this point, maybe I was 26 years old. This should be in 2017-ish, 2018. I was pushing this wheelchair towards the consultant room and somebody accosted me on the road and asked me, who is this person? I said, this is my husband. He said, so why are you here? Like, this person does not know me. This is a stranger asking me, why am I the one pushing him? Where is the family? In my head, I'm like, why are you asking me? Why should I not? Right? That's one thing. I remember it became so terrible that the pain he was going through began to make him act very erratic. I didn't know on time. I think he began to exhibit signs of bipolarism, right? Like, I went through domestic violence. I had to also take care of. I didn't know in time, right? But there was a day I picked up my bag and I'm like, I'm not doing again. As at this point, it was, I think, a year after, he was now old. He could now walk, right? Because the whole stress was so much, I carried my bag. And I was like, I'm not doing it again. There was nobody in the house. But I was walking out of the house. I saw our big frame on the wall. And I just, I stopped and I looked at it and I broke down. And I started crying. And why was I crying? There was this question that the Holy Spirit asked me. Who is this person to you? And it occurred to me that this actually, before he became my husband, this is my friend. Like, this person, he is my friend. And the second question that was asked me, if the wife was a friend of yours and she brought the situation she is in to you, what counsel would you give to her? I know, of course, that I won't tell her to carry her bag. Wisdom is a defense, and it bears fruit. You cannot say that you are wise, and the works or the actions that you exude is the act of a fool. Indeed, you are a fool. You're literally a fool. The truth is, we can say many things, we would plot many things, but at the end of the day, who are you? That's my question.
Yeah, so I know that pain, and it's where I'm coming from. Yeah, I also lost someone I was in a relationship. Yeah, and when people ask these days that, oh, you know a lot and all that, it's coming from pain. But again, while just listening to you talk, you carry so much weight, even with your words, and it's coming from that point. Again, I'm saying that I know God is with you. You know God is with you. But I think you have a message in that direction. You touched me. Yeah, and it's because I know that pain. I'm familiar. So when I see two people who are grieving and all that, it's also coming from the fact that I've lost somebody like that. Yeah, so I think you have a message in that direction. And me, I want to publicly, can I hug you? Yeah, I want to hug you. Yeah, come on.
This is why we're at Unbothered.
This is why we have Unbothered, guys.
Is there a final question? Bella, is there a final question?
Is there a final question? Me, I need a hug too.
I'll give you a hug afterwards.
Okay, so we don't have a final question, guys.
Glory.
We've
Thank
come
you
to the
so
end
much.
of the live show today. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my God. It was
Thank you so
wonderful.
much, guys. When we had this theme for the conversation, we were scared.
Also,
Heartbreaks.
remember to follow us at the Unbothered Show on social media, Instagram, and you can follow and watch what's that?
The podcast on YouTube, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, follow us on all social media, guys. You can start doing it now on Instagram at the Unbothered Show. Yes, share our content with your friends, engage, comment, and all of that. Please don't bash me, please. Don't bash Zora, please.
But okay, guys, it was nice to have everyone here. Have a great night and get home safe.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming. We are honored.